sitting #1 in consistency on our leaderboard. Is it due to the fact that Reet and Cooper qualified yesterday and they're no longer contesting you?
Well, I was a little sick yesterday, so I don't think I was playing the best, but now that we're on con, games are pretty easy for us.
Has Ritual been nursing you back to health?
No, yeah, he's been open a lot for sure. He's been carrying the load.
I can imagine. Ritual, what's it like now, feeling refreshed, feeling healthy, and knowing you had the motivation of making tomorrow?
I mean, it feels great. It's not the route we wanted to take to get to the finals, but we got to go through it, and we'll pull through tomorrow.
It's great to see you guys showing up the consistency we know you on for when you're playing back in North America. What's interesting to me is the teams that are getting through, they tend to be contesting for high ground. I don't feel like we're seeing that as much from you at the moment. What's your plan? What's your preference?
You know, if we have the fizz bombs, we'll go height, but we tend to like mid ground and low ground. You know, I've always played that through my years of playing, so that's like home to me.
Well, you look at home. Is the aim, though, to actually get that victory royale, or do you prefer the safety of knowing you're going to qualify through consistency?
I think we're going to just play the games out, not focus too much on the win, and just try to fight all the teams that we can.
Well, you're looking really comfortable, #1 of 19 for consistency at the moment, but say tomorrow you're facing that off-spawn battle against Reet and Cooper again. What's going to happen?
I mean, yesterday was 3-1. And, you know, we're both under the weather, so if we're both max health, we'll probably be 6-0, 8-0 tomorrow.
Somebody get these boys some vitamin C because it looks...
You know, hoping that they recover very quickly. They can wake up feeling refreshed tomorrow for those finals, but they are currently in that #1 spot in consistency, right? I think that's a great way to kind of view it is I'm out in front. We'll play the games out the way they are. We don't necessarily need a win, and for them, this is even a good chance to get practice in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so jealous, Minnie, because, you know, we're interviewing all of these players throughout the weekend. They all seem so confident. Like, we're talking to Ages right there, and, you know, it's kind of talking about the quality of the games in the lower bracket. And he's like, well, since we're uncontested, the games are just easy for us.
Yeah,
like, wow.
It makes a difference, doesn't it? It helps them, and you can see what they can do now when they are uncontested. But like Frankie was alluding to right there, if they do, of course, qualify through, which they pretty much are now already, it's going to be a difficult off-spawn battle for them. They're, of course, very confident, 8-0, we're going to win easily. But think back to yesterday, wasn't quite as smooth for them as they would have hoped. So I think they're going to have to use a lot of that experience to their advantage. And even the fact that now they're not going to know what tomorrow even looks like in terms of who's going to be around them. So I think they, of course, missed out on an opportunity there yesterday in qualifying through.
I'm going to take a quick moment right here because we were kind of watching that interview, and it's so funny to me because, you know, we've talked a lot about the players that are already qualified through finals, and one of those players, of course, is Acorn. We started the show, and Acorn was kind of in the back of the interviews, making all these funny faces and everything like that. The guy hasn't moved. Like, we just did that interview right there with Ritual and Ages, and he was still sat down, seemingly reviewing games and everything like that. So a quick little sneak peek into the practice room I saw right there from Acorn. I'm a little worried for everybody playing tomorrow.
Well, Viv, what's funny is we can actually see if Acorn is still there because Frankie is standing by with Shadow and Virgo.
I am, and these guys are discussing what happened in the last game because apparently, Shadow, you griefed it.
Yeah, we kind of got keyed, or we keyed them, and then we kind of died, but it's all good. We got next game.
Well, this is the thing. It must be quite hard because you know you've got this amazing fragger in Virgo. So surely sometimes you just want to say, W-key it, go and eliminate everyone.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's like the best fragger in the world. I could just IGL him. He could just solo clutch whenever, so it's fine, yeah.
It must be hard to keep you on a leash sometimes, I have to say. Virgo, the first 2 games, though, placing 3rd and 4th, looking incredible. What do you think is the key to those consistent placements?
I mean, honestly, like, we just have our whole game plan down. We know what to do early, mid-game. We're quick on everything. Like, there's just zero nerves because we're just so confident. We prepared so well. I mean, it just feels really easy, honestly.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes when players prepare really well, they want to stick to the Fortnite. They forget to trust their instincts. What happens when things don't go to plan, Shadow?
For us, that's not going to happen, so we're just going to win. But yeah.
Well, I hope that's not famous last words. You're currently 5th out of 19th at the moment, so it is very probable that you'll get through, but anything can happen in this particular format. But you were saying to me before we got into the interview, Virgo, you think you're going to win the next game?
Yeah, I mean, we can choose when we want to play good and when we want to just have fun, you know. I mean, we were on a hot streak, so we just had to calm down a little bit, but I think next game we're winning.
Okay, that means you guys aren't going to have fun, but we're going to love every minute. Let's head back to the desk. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Frankie. And yeah, Bolts, don't worry, we see you too. Man, I like seeing the confidence out of the duo. You know, Viv, do you believe that to be true, though, right? They're thinking, hey, we can kind of have fun when we want to. We can play hard when we want to. Now we're going to come in and get a VR right here, right now. Is that possible?
Dude, I feel like we have to believe them because throughout, you know, we started off today kind of talking to Virgo. We were kind of curious as to how he was going to be kind of feeling coming into the event. Only a couple of lands under his belt now. He was like, dude, listen, after playing so on creative, I feel so confident. I feel like we're seeing just that. I mean, the duo looks pretty confident to me in game. They sound confident out of game. I got to believe that they're winning game number 4.
And that must be hard, though, when you're Virgo, to have a lot of expectations on yourself coming into it. And then going into that practice room, performing incredibly well, and then everyone sort of piling on you saying, you are going to do so good this weekend. You're incredible. How good are you? You're amazing. So he's actually carrying that really well, of course. Second place right now today. Interested to see what happens to their drop spot as well when they do qualify through to the grand finals. Hero and FKS landing there, of course, in those grand finals. So will they be contesting them? Will they be moving around? There's a lot of questions now that they'll be thinking about in the back of their minds. And a lot of those players in that practice room also vodding, keeping their eyes on this lobby as well to see how the off-spawn situation is going to get.
It's so cool, man, seeing all this kind of unfold. It makes me think of the Global Championships, which reminds me, don't forget, yesterday we announced some things. We have a beautiful graphic here lined up for you guys that may have missed it, but FNCS 2026 now looks like this. We got the Global Championship happening September 26th and 27th in Antwerp, Belgium. What's up? Major 2 has new dates, July 18th to August 2nd, with that last chance from the 3rd to the 14th in August. And obviously, don't super know what that FNCS solo online thing might be in October. I don't know, not sure. But keep eyes out because more information will follow. We've also in the blog announced power rankings. And guess what? Levin made a little video for us. Check it out.
This weekend, the best players in the world are proving it on the stage. But competitive Fortnite is bigger than one weekend. It's every cup, every finish, every performance that pushes a player further. Introducing Power Rankings. Your Battle Royale and Reload tournament results will build towards your individual power ranking. Updated weekly, you can track your global standing, share with friends, and follow your favorite players.
Kind of unfold. It makes me think of the Global Championships, which reminds shout outs to Big Man 112K for that video. Yeah, power rankings. What's really cool is this was built for the players. We got to show them a little early when one of their rehearsal days, hey, this is power rankings on the way. And man, it's so cool. It's basically just like a player's competitive resume, right? Just being able to look at a number and be like, oh, you thought you were better than me. Hey, what's this say right here?
I think it's really, really cool. Some of the people behind the scenes that, of course, work hands-on with this, we're throwing some great ideas around. Like, obviously, these power rankings can be used for tournaments that Fortnite themselves kind of put on. But then there was this great idea also thrown out there. Was like, well, it doesn't necessarily even have to be Fortnite exclusive, right? Some of the creators that we know and love can kind of use that list for themselves to also put on some tournaments. So just so many possibilities with power rankings. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting for sort of lower level competitive as well, for you guys out there at home that are trying to break into competitive and learn and try and find teammates on your skill level and improve together. This is gonna be a really great way to actually find those teammates instead of people sort of being like, oh yeah, I'm really good at the game, and then you find out it's not the case and you don't gel. But it's like, yeah, I've got the stats to back it up now. I've got the power ranking, and I want to see if I'm gonna be higher than Vivid in my.
Oh, crazy stuff. Well, I know that I'm definitely not on that list, so that's okay. But yeah, like we said, this is a great way for the players to see, and obviously a great way to kind of earn respect from your peers, right? And what's cool too is with the players all being here, they had a moment to say how much they respect each other. Check this out.
It's one day, 8 games only. A lot can happen. There's so many contenders, so it's gonna be hard.
The secret would definitely be experience, being able to consistently perform under pressure.
It's either you got it or you don't, and we happen to have it.
These are the best of the best, but I think we're ready to compete against them.
I'd say the biggest competition is probably Sky and Scroll.
Sky and Scroll.
Sky and Scroll.
Sky and Scroll.
No, this is Sky Scroll. They've been the most consistent team by far.
I think their average placement for the past season is top 10, which is just insane on EU.
They have really good team play, especially in endgame. It just sets them apart from everyone else.
I've known them for some time, but then they just suddenly became the best. They have the best duo chemistry.
They're pretty without doubt. They can play 12 games on the hardest region and make every endgame.
Biggest competition? I mean, I would probably say Shark and Teeny.
Maybe Shark and Teeny, to be honest.
I mean, it's going to be Shark and Teeny now.
Shark and Teeny, just two very good individual players.
They were conned last rounds. We didn't get a chance to really see what they're about.
Uncon, they could 100% be contenders to win, and if they can't, I would hope to see them in the top 5.
It all depends on how he reacts.
I think Kervin Vino has a unique playstyle. I would love to see them competing against the best of the best.
Vino, just when he's locked in, he could just do anything at this point.
I think the way to keep up is just your love for the game and wanting to be better each and every day.
One of the most underrated teams here, I would say, is Victor V and Canada. I could see them easily sweeping a top 10 or even maybe a top 5.
Surprise, maybe us even. Maybe us.
Josh Rayleigh, he's up and coming.
Just his fighting ability, you know, like people call him the next Peterbot, so I think that he'll really impress a lot of people.
過小評価されてるのは結構自分たちかなって思います。Koyota is like definitely up there. Maybe he will surprise top 5.
From Asia, Koyota, I think will do good.
I definitely looked up to Mr. Savage.
It's cool knowing that I was like watching him back in like 2019. I was just like not even good at the game at all. Now we're here.
がずっと強いなと思ってて、なんか本当にフォートナイトが好きなんだろうなって思います。
We have Thomas HD. He is still going and still looking like a very good team right now.
I used to look up to him a lot, but I think a lot of things has to go in his favor for him to win.
As like, I guess the face of OCE, obviously I've got a lot of pressure on me.
I'm proud to represent EU. I think it's the best region by far, and I feel like we keep showing it.
The most important thing, I want to make my Middle East region proud, and hopefully I can do it in this tournament.
This is all I ever wanted, you know, since I was 13 playing, trying to become the best, but it's not going to be nothing if I can't take it home this weekend, so we'll see.
Maybe us.
What's super interesting about that video is when you kind of look at the kind of like breakdown of, oh, there's like all these OG players who all these players looked up to, and now wait, those players are still on the stage, but then the people that were looking up to those players are also on the stage, and they're all kind of battling out. Crazy things can happen in Fortnite. Life-changing amounts of money happening tomorrow that can change the lives and trajectory of so many of these players. I mean, Fortnite is what Fortnite is.
Fortnite is crazy, man. Obviously, there's a lot on the line this weekend. I know there was some regional love coming out of there as well, right? Some of the players kind of playing this weekend, it feels like, for their region, right? They want to represent there. Also love the last little tidbit, Cold being like, listen, man, like, I've been playing this game since I was 13. The only thing I've ever wanted to do is to be the best. But he feels like, yeah, I mean, we all look up to Cold. We think he's literally like one of the best players in the world, like probably like top 5. So he's pretty much like done that, but he hasn't won on land. That's what he wants.
And that's what these players are like. They're always striving for that next big goal. And it's like, even when they win, it's like, I want to win again. I want to go back to back. So it's really nice to see that, though. Like you were saying, Zeke, a lot of sort of old players, a lot of older players, I suppose, like 23, that are playing with these newer talent players as well. We were speaking about that a lot on EU. It's like, you know, someone like Thomas HD, a player that played at the World Cup, had such incredible longevity, teaming up with someone like Focus, a newer player coming on through. We're not sort of like shedding away a lot of those older players, which I think is what makes Fortnite such a fantastic game. Someone like Focus can use the experience of someone like Thomas to really carry him through these games and give him, transfer that experience in order for him to go on and do great things.
I love that. And shout outs to Thomas. Happy birthday, by the way. Don't think we didn't not know, Thomas. Happy birthday. Man, such a fantastic time now. Obviously, we've got 3 games in our belt. We're still during the halfway point period. So why don't we look at some stats and see some of the categories some of these players are currently leading in. Eliminations going over to Zangy, 13. Damage dealt, Atrus. Well, that's pretty much why we're seeing them in first place.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise there. We did kind of talk about the dynamic between Rich and Aders. Aders usually taking on the role of the fragger right there. Super cool to see builds placed by some of our teams as well. Craze with over 1,200. You could kind of imagine that, you know, with Kingling on the team, maybe Craze is kind of taking the lead there, kind of building for the duo.
Yeah, you can see that in the stats right there. Even with Mr. Savage, of course, leading his duo, farming a lot of those materials. So many of them as well. And it's really nice to see Mr. Savage actually playing well in these end games as well. One of the problems that they were having having in EU was Mr. Savage was actually going down too early in these end games, and of course leaving his teammate Virgo to try and solo clutch as much as he possibly could. So, or Velo, I should say, solo clutching as much as he could. So it was a difficult situation for them, but now they're seemingly coming together now and having a little bit more success in those end games.
And I'm happy that you're kind of talking about solo clutches right there, because we saw that last stat, 60 solo clutch points for Virgo.
Yep.
I mean, what a better storyline, right? We were kind of talking about him all week as being this player that just seems so mechanically gifted and creative, and he jumps into a lobby, instantly is showing off that individual prowess. Love to see it.
So sick, man. What a fantastic, and just, I keep thinking like, man, it's been already so much fun, but tomorrow we also have a finals, right? Tomorrow, after 8 games, we will have a brand new duo with a brand new title, Summit Champions. Crazy stuff. The players are currently starting to make their way back into the lobby. We'll get ready. We'll get them back on that battle bus here shortly. Why don't we check in with our bingo card, see how things are going after the first 3 games. Turns out we've got a couple of these already ready to go. Let's hit them with the stamps. Boom! 10 elimination wins. Swizzy coming out strong. Pixie game number 1. We saw that go over early.
We got to double stamp that one. 10 plus eliminations. Of course, we did have the Swizzy and Pixie game, but we did just see Craze and Kingling also go ahead and pick up a 10 plus elimination game as well.
Yeah, we also had, of course, the non-EU or NA team in Nuti Gavzera. They, of course, got the victory royale in game number 2. That was great to see. I love to see the sort of smaller region fans coming together, because there's some here. We have, of course, the viewing party streamers that are watching along as well. The vibes when one of those teams wins, because you just know how much it means to them. So super happy for those guys. Hopefully we get some more smaller region teams in the grand finals as well.
Absolutely, man. I love looking. I love this is like, obviously, you know, as a fan, and we're trying to have all the cameras watch the player faces, but we get to be right here, right down in front to see them walking back in. A lot of them, you know, some smiles, many more super focused, back up, locked back in. They're thinking all the same thing. You know, Vivid, we have 3 games left to go. Even in just 30 minutes, that's time, right? That's time to take a step back to kind of reassess. What do you think are maybe just some of the things they may have prepared or changed up?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a read on some of the players kind of walking around looking for some emotion. Yeah, it is. Yep. I see Ritual right here, man. He's all smiles, shaking his head as soon as I said his name, so he's feeling confident. No reason not to be, of course. But yeah, the opportunity to go ahead and take a break. Obviously, the players can kind of go back to the practice room, review very, very quickly, have an opportunity to go ahead and get a snack and do anything that they kind of need to do. What can you possibly kind of look at in just 30 minutes when Fortnite games themselves almost take 30 minutes that can kind of help out the second half of the performance here today?
It's optimization, and I feel like it's not something that we speak often about because we're not in these situations about enough, I suppose. But like being proficient in the Fortnite replay mode as a pro player, super valuable. It's a genuine skill gap, because if you can get those replays, you can get that information sooner. You can actually get all of that information way quicker than some of the teams and some of the players that maybe aren't as proficient at it. I mean, Vivid, if you're of course an ex-pro player, if you're not having as great of a day at the beginning of the day, do you then change things up now in this sort of format in the second half of the day? Do you mix everything up? I know Levin's a fan of just ripping everything up and throwing it out the window, but how would you approach it?
No, I actually mentioned myself yesterday. I was like, nah, man, don't rip it all up. I personally, listen, always went into tournaments absolutely prepared, right? I usually performed pretty well, so usually whatever I was doing was working. So I kind of just usually
so you're never in that situation?
Yeah, exactly. never have a bad tournament. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, as we continue to load them onto the battle bus, let's keep reminding ourselves, right? 3 games left to go. The standings will tell us all that we need to know. The bubble is top 19. We do still have 3 VRs on the line. Right now, though, Viv, Sato, Podesai, they're holding on. It's a tie, but they're holding on.
They are holding on. Listen, I'm going to go back to that first page real quick, because I saw something that we didn't have the opportunity to go ahead and talk about, which is absolutely crazy. When we do make our way back there, I'll go ahead and bring up my point. Alex and Rekas have actually been top 19 throughout the day so far. It looks like after game number 3, they did unfortunately drop outside of that. I was looking towards them because I feel like the big conversation throughout the day so far has been those smaller region teams. Quick comment here on King and Phaser. I have not seen Clicks and Higgs on the leaderboard yet as well, so maybe Wonky Lane is not really working out for either of them.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, looking at Chino and Pablo, of course, as well. Sandy, Strip, losing 8 places right there, falling outside of that top 19. The second half of competition now for these guys is going to be so important. We spoke about them a lot yesterday. A huge team in EU coming into the major finals. They didn't really show too much. We didn't get to see the best of Chino and Pablo Wingu. When it came to those major finals, they turned it up to 11. They were so strong. They nearly won the whole thing if it wasn't for Sky and Scroll's excellence of Spawn in game number 11. So now they're going to need to have almost that in a more condensed way. They clutched up at the second half of Major 1. They're going to need to clutch up in the second half of this competition. And of course, they've got 3 more games to do it. Thankfully, though, it's not down and out. They're not all the way down at the bottom of the leaderboard. I think that kind of would mean they need to try and go for a win. For them, they can continue to try and play their game. Keep an eye out for them off Spawn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, really, no matter where you are all at the leaderboard, it does not matter. You can qualify no matter what game number it is. As you can see, Mr. Savage finally taking a seat. Listen, we were watching these players kind of walk out, and I'm not going to lie, Mr. Savage, I think, was the last one to make it to the stage. So potentially a couple of extra minutes of preparation spent right there. He sat back down and instantly got focused, started to communicate and talk about something. And I'm happy to kind of see them planning, because it feels like they do need to kind of have a different approach. He is currently outside of that bubble.
Yeah, he is. And it's a team that everyone wants to see, of course, in the grand finals. A lot of people have questions about Velo, of course, picking him up as a newer coming player. This is a team that we were talking about earlier, the old guard pairing up with this new talent. And it seems like the new talent always step up to the plate. But for now, this is better than ever. This is the time to step up to the plate. The ultimate test in these final few games. Can they find it through a win? Will they need to stay consistent? It's all up to what Mr. Savage has discussed and looked at in this break.
Mr. Savage has been getting a lot of love from the crowd. Somebody else has been getting a lot of love from the crowd when he walks out. Clicks alongside Higgs. I think a lot of us had big hopes for the duo coming into the weekend. Honestly, kind of expected them to do better in the upper bracket, especially after game number 1, because they look good. But Mini, I don't want to have to say it, man, but 44th place on the leaderboard right now.
Well, we spoke to them, Levin spoke to them at the beginning of the day. He said in this sort of format, the lower bracket, you haven't had the greatest success. Think back to 2023. He asked Clicks, what's different? Higgs is different. It hasn't been working out for them so far. And I think a lot of that off-spawn situation, they've been struggling in the early stages of the game, right? They haven't been able to make it to those later stages to show what they can do. I think they're one of the better teams in this lobby, if not the best, that hasn't qualified through. And of course, all the way down in that last page of the leaderboard, so they've still got more to get.
Like Vivid said, doesn't matter what place you're in, you just can get a Victory Royale, and you could be seeing that battle bus heading on to the finals tomorrow. Game number 4 is ready, so Fortnite fam, lock in. Casters, take it away.
For some of our teams, the dreams are still going, but for others, it could end here tonight. Obviously, we are still looking to try and figure out who's going to secure these last few placements for the Victory Royales and bring it to tomorrow's preparation.
Yeah, this being the second half of the day, where you're out on the leaderboard means so much. You might look to get a little aggressive. You might have to get one of these Victory Royales. Let's let this game begin, because it all starts here.
This is where you start feeling the pressure halfway through the competition. 3 more matches to be played out. We've got a lot of teams that are looking more for that Victory Royale than qualifying through consistency, and they are some big names.
One big thing, though, to keep in mind is that the players did have an opportunity, even if it was brief, even if it was just 30, 40 minutes, to try and get some form of review. And you have to wonder, were some of the players already in the player lounge trying to help them out as Giannis cheat and unsuccessful off-spawn finish there? Giannis and Randu very happy to come out on top.
Yeah, interesting decision here for Giannis and Cheatin to continue to contest the top of that rock. Yesterday in game 1, they were contested, but they were going over towards Sus Studios. King and Craze had already qualified out of Sus Studios, so I thought that would have been a no-brainer, but a whole nother team takes into the mix. But back to a fight that we've seen game after game after game here. Poe decide he's going to try to go as far out as he can, basically leaving Sato by himself.
I drop Marius. They're above the cutoff currently now with a 2v1. Can they pick up this free elimination, or is Sato going to be able to escape? They have the choice to play it safer, loot up, get mats, but looks like the aggression might come through.
Just wait and see whether or not Marius and iDrop know that they need to try and capitalize on this opportunity. It's one thing to beat Zato and Podesai off the off-spawn, but it's another to find those additional eliminations. They're sitting at 88 points. They don't want to miss the cutoff when it comes to consistency.
Yeah, I like their decision to instantly disengage. If you're Sato and Podesai, you said it yourself, 64 points. That is the line as of now. It will continue to change as the games go on, but you want to give yourself a fighting chance, just like Clix and Higgs here. This has not been the tournament they thought they would have, but there's still 3 games left.
North side of Wonky, it has been looking incredibly tough. Now, they had 30 minutes, refresh mentally a little bit. You had your little halftime preparation. Now, it's not a full day like a 2-day competition, but we'll see if it was enough for them to find something.
But what I was really trying to get at is whether or not players are actually going to be able to see if there were other teams willing to assist them, because you might be trying to set up someone else to contest an opponent in finals. And I think that that could actually bode a different sort of issue for tomorrow. Zengi and Belusi, though, they have whole new intentions here. A little bit of a surprise, and Nathan never saw it coming. Still barely managing to stay alive. Quick on his feet with the reaction times, but it's just not enough. Nev's too far away to actually close the gap. He'll be forced to disengage. Zengi and Belusi, though, looking to just chase this one out.
That was big for Zengi and Belusi. Nathan and Nev, they're so used to going up against Muzz and Sphinx. They probably saw them go elsewhere. They thought they were free, but it's that 1 second of letting your guard down that all it takes to have a team like this play aggressive, get that first elimination here. Now they're trying to secure 2. Nevs is now in danger because now Zengi is just knocking on the top side of that box, trying to get the control. Nevs is backing up, lands a good shot onto Belusi, but how long can he stay alive?
Not only do they have the upper hand, but the tables, they're beginning to turn. You have to be careful as Nevs is not missing a single shot. Zengi Belusi forced to step back and take it slow.
I get it. It's super tempting whenever you've got a solo to not fixate exclusively on running them down, but these are still all global contenders for a reason. Nevs is ready to step up to the plate.
Yeah, and I think what's going down right now, Belusi and Zengi are so far up the leaderboard, they're trying to push Nathan and Nevs out. They're trying to push Muzz and Sphinx out. And that way, if they make it to Championship Sunday, they will be uncontested. It's going to take a lot of work, but I do think they are right on the money. Drew and Vidil, same thing could be said for them. A phenomenal performance in that last game. All they have to do is have at least one more repeat.
Crowd is cheering for them. Audience is roaring. We know what Vidil and Drew are capable of, and so far, they have been putting on a show, but the job is not finished. 114 points. It's not going to be enough.
Could be problematic as well, dealing with the team already establishing a surge base, but King finally clashing head on Clix and Higgs. This is where they've really got to turn it up, because it has not been a very great day for these two so far, and the crouch sneak up onto King. Those are the kinds of plays that we were sort of anticipating. We've been waiting to see when are Clix and Higgs actually going to choose to pounce. They've tried the split direction. They've tried the long glide intentions, but where they might just need to trust entirely is in their fighting capabilities.
Yeah, just kind of during that break, talking to a lot of the code streamers as well. Even the chat's kind of all agreed they need to play aggressive. This is like a shell of how Clix and Higgs have normally played in the NA Central region. They just need to find that comfortability. So many others have already, including Ju and Vidil. They know their game plan, and they're sticking to it every step of the way. And they understand that not everything's going to go perfect. It's about how you handle it.
Careful, though. Epic Whale has been knocked. It was Gerald. Got to be careful with the 2v1 now. You don't want to overextend. We saw what Nevs was able to do earlier on, but with the advantage and Pump no shield to work with, it's not going to be long until one shot is connected. Both angles already covered. Initial does not connect with the second. Will, 2 eliminations now for Gerald and Co.
That's a bit of an upset, too, for Epic and Pump, but Gerald and Mason are sick of having these long, drawn-out fights. They want to be able to establish control of Riptides immediately. So it starts with just getting a great opening shot. Epic Whale just immediately max Pump there, and there's just no opportunity for Pump to really try and recover off of that.
Yeah, lost track of his opponent. A little sneaky lurk play really made them pay. Aegis and Ritual one of our top teams on the day. They went through a contested fight yesterday against Reet and Cooper. We're already locked in for Sunday. Now we all knew it. Whoever might lose that battle on day one will be uncontested in day two. And you're seeing what it does to a team to have so much more freedom in these games. Ages of Ritual playing much like themselves on how they got second in their NA Central Finals.
With that, you know, comfort from leading the lobby, you can start to think, okay, you know, I'm pretty positive. I'm almost already qualified. Now they can start thinking of the surrounding areas. What are these teams that might contest me if they make it through? What players do I ultimately want to go against on Sunday? How can I stop that? As Liam does pick up a quick Elim.
And that was exactly what Badil and Ju were trying to avoid. They saw repairs potentially posing a bit of a threat there, but also bearing in mind, Minifio and all these other teams in the surrounding areas are teams that you don't want to try and get caught in the mix with if you can avoid it.
Chap Flixie, they started things off not looking good at all. 36th place, 47th, but in the last game, in a single match, with that 4th place, they've already bumped themselves right to that borderline of qualifying through consistency. They no longer need that big match. All they got to do is keep it up.
Vive and Cam, though, this is a duo that's really got to just get anything going. 34 points currently, and they still need to try and really pick up the pace. The options are largely just going to be about the victory royale at this phase, unless they can have a monumental come up with the elims and a strong placement.
Yeah, this is Aviv and Cam, and it's one of those teams where they had marked in the lower bracket. They're landing over towards Dark Dominion. Swizzy and Pixie in day one, they didn't have the performance that they thought. So now Aviv and Cam, thinking they were uncontested, end up with a big fight. Luckily for them, their opposition is kind of out of here. More and more teams making their way on over. Shargu, Brilliant. They have Reckless kind of trapped down there by himself. Alex seems to be already out of this game, and now the decision is theirs. They can take all the time they want, they can disengage, or they can just wait up here for Reckless to try to move out of here and get Alex's reboot card, and that's when they can strike.
Don't want to overstay your welcome. The Deal Jew also close by. Smelling the fight. Is it something they want to pounce on? The zone is continuing to pull further and further. The clock is ticking. Don't know if this is the right decision, and they felt that exactly as they start to disengage.
Whether or not they even knew that Badil and Ju are on the move, it doesn't matter. They don't need to stick around to find out. They've already got the surge they were after. Same case scenario here for Zangi and Belusi. 2 eliminations, trying to see whether or not they can come out on top. They've been so close already on the day. They've definitely done a strong performance here, but Sado, they need this. Hodesai, having been claimed by Chap and Flixie, now puts Sado back into the sticky of whether or not he can actually escape. But luckily for him, Flixie Chap, all they wanted was damage.
Yeah, sometimes all you need is that break in between games 3 and 4. But look at this peculiar loadout here. 6 splashes, 2 different slapperoni pizzas, 4 shockwaves, and no, it's not an iron pump. It is a purple pistol here, and even a gold loadout. So they realize how hard it is in some of these games to not only get surge, but make it through relatively healthy. So now they're having a change in their game plan, hoping to make it work here.
Coming from the 4th place, though, was wondering after the halftime, will that fire still be burning hot? And it looks like it is with the amount of eliminations they've picked up. We talk about overstaying your welcome. Badil Ju waiting for that reboot. Extra bit of eliminations, plus 4 points on the board as the crowd roars, supporting in Dusseldorf, Germany.
I like this though from Boot, Ju and Badil. Whether or not they actually choose to continue the pursuit up against Minifio, the damage has been done. And he's gonna have to just keep trying to see how much space he can actually create between himself and Ju and Badil, but they don't really have to wait for Minifio. They can choose to just try and capitalize on the fact he's a solo, not let him go for another reboot opportunity. If they keep trailing him though, that's just going to make it impossible for Minifio to really bring this one back.
Yeah, just a scenic stroll through the zone, past painted palms. They're looking over in that direction. They know he's somewhere around the vicinity, most likely the closest reboot van, but they want to make it as fast to zone as possible. They'll worry about that later. There will be second opportunities as FaZe or King, they're both back up and standing after that off-spawn fight over towards Wonky Land. But in order to get that reboot, they had to move south, further and further away from where the zone looks like it's going.
Despite King having gone down in the early game at Wonky, they're still 200 above currently. They know they are going to need more, though. They're playing that sneaky route. Will it work out?
Medius and iDrop, though, they've been doing a great job handling their off-spawn situation up against Ozai and Sato, but now how will they fare up against the likes of Muzz and Spinks? They're already trying to see if they can establish priority control of these boxes, but so far, no good. Muzz, Spinks, still trying to see whether or not they can actually break through. We know that these two definitely love to get a little aggressive when necessary, and they are in dire need of some comeback points.
Yeah, that is true. Marius and iDrop, they missed out on that top 25 qualification due to a tiebreaker that went down to average placement, and it wasn't even a full placement separating them and the upper bracket. Muzz and Spinks, you can see why they're playing so aggressive here in this situation. 281 below the damage threshold. Half of their HP already gone. You can see the desperation start to click in. Active surge, that's gonna hit Spinks before Marius eventually takes him down, leaving Muzz by himself, and he's about to face that same fate. Marius and iDrop, 1100 above, and with 2 eliminations now.
There's only so much you can do. You're 300 below, and the opponents on the other side of that wall are over 1,000 above the threshold. They have all the time in their world, and that's exactly how they played it out.
Chino and Pablo, on the other hand, recognizing Sato, trying to crash his way into where they're currently boxed up. Likely another solo, desperate for some surge, but he won't get the chance to try and recover here. Chino and Pablo, still, they're gonna need a lot more on the day if they really want to try and finish strong. It's an okay first half, but let's see what you got for the second.
Yeah, but this is the type of game we're needing to see out of Pablo and Chino. A little bit more aggression. Get up early on that Storm Search leaderboard. It's been the primary thing that has been taking them down, causing distractions in their game plan, forcing their hand when they might not want to. And I feel like a lot of other teams are going to start to feel that pressure here. It's going to go from a 2-tick zone into a 5-tick zone. So if you're not already down below that damage threshold, you need to beeline it there, because that's a lot of damage coming your way.
Great job from Osid and Scary, though, not getting shot, not getting cracked at all on their rotate in. Issue is 21 below. They have many duos in the surrounding area, so there will be opportunities, but they cannot take any damage here.
Scary and Osid, though, clinging on. As long as you're above, that's all that really matters here. But Shadow and Virgo, they can really just have fun with it. But what I want to see is them back up the talk that they just administered in that player room during Frankie's interview. Are you really going to win it? Because they told us earlier today, Jacob, they were bringing home game 1.
That's why I don't like it when you try to call your shot, and sometimes you just got to play it out, because you never know in the lobby this stack how hard it can actually be.
This is the talks on EU. Is it a new era? Are these new players going to be the ones that are surpassing Legends, Legacy, like Mr. Savage, who's one of only 5 players to have qualified both for the 2019 World Cup and also this Summit Major? This is a big match for not only him, but also Akira Kurama. They're already in that cutoff. They're very close to being qualified, but they are 197 below. They have not done enough damage. They've taken too much. The Storm Surge has already taken the pressure. It's on.
The one silver lining, though, this is a duo that can afford to have some missteps, and for Akira, things are looking a little bit grim, but even still, he's got so much fighting spirit left behind him. Spots out Basin, tries to get a bigger shot in, but recognizes he still has to just keep trying to make it into zone to begin with, but that'll be cut short. Kazi able to take him out.
134 points is what the cutoff was yesterday for 19. They're not there yet, but they're close.
That's what we'll be looking at here. We got a few games left. And if any of the teams at the top side of the leaderboard will definitely kind of open up the gap down below, but Savage is going to go down. Velo is by himself. And Taco, Takata, there's 31 teams still up. 6 of them need to go down before placement points are even a thing.
But now's the time here for Velo. He's got a solid loadout. If he can pull off some form for a huge solo brawl, as this will be his best chance to try and shine. He's still having to try and make his way into zone to begin with. Overdrive grenade gonna send him forward. Still 4 left in the stack, but now the lobby closing in, locking into his position. He's trying to cover off every single angle while sending out shots himself. 27 below, he just needs one more.
Show us what you can do, Velo. Show us what the new era of EU Fortnite competitive is capable of. 84 below, you've lost your teammate, you've got an elimination, but the job is still far from finished. Getting cracked, forced to pop this chug jug, the pressure. It might be too much.
Yeah, and I think Josh is feeling that as well. Yamso's already down over 300 below the damage threshold. No extra heals. He has to go, and he has to go now. Coyota's there on the other side trying to block him out, and Josh goes down. And that was a big one for Coyota and Yuma as well, because now he gets a chance at the revive and much needed surge.
Clicks and Higgs, on the other hand, trying to see whether or not they can tango with some of these other duos just behind them. This is the first time we've really seen them try to be a little bit more proactive with the off-spawn. And while that did net them a general success with that first elimination, it's what you can do with it after the fact. But they need a big-time endgame performance here. They need so many placement points to play catch-up.
Getting to the front side of zone, it's not going to be easy. You see how destructive it is on that layer. Click's taking a ton of that damage, but still finds an elimination onto Agers. Much needed as well. Siphon's gonna fix the HP. Everything else could go to regenerating his shields, and we see how he found that elimination. Agers actually boxed up Clicks, and he made him pay.
What a shot. If you're gonna take out anyone, it's gonna be that #1 team on the consistency leaderboard. Issue is, it's all up to Higgs now. Clicks has gone down, dropped the Storm Surge to only 11 above. It's now active as well. At any moment, Higgs could drop below. He has to be careful.
One consistent narrative that's taken place all day long for so many teams in some of these endgame moments is just the fact that it's short-lived victories. You find one elimination, you think the refresh is all yours for the duo to share, and then somebody else just takes you out along the way. Chap, Flixie hoping to try and change that fact as they continue to make their way forward, but the way that the zone is pulling, players are going to be able to send it on height. Some of these connections can be difficult to keep track of, and for Pix and Ghost, they're looking to see if they can actually take over.
Yeah, from where the zone was to where the zone is at now, there's a little bit of a hill that they are having to go up, and that's where you're seeing a lot of shockwaves come into play and an opportunity to try to steal away the high ground. But for Chino and Pablo Wingu, they're just taking what they can get. This is one of their best games so far on the day today. They really need to continue to make this one count.
Higgs falls, Ghost and Pix. It's looking bright up in the clouds, continuing to rain it down above while that chaos unfolds below. Velo, he's still up. The solo clutch continues. He's got 43 builds. He's got enough rotations, heals. He's got everything he needs. It is all on you, Velo.
We've seen Virgo get 60 points off the solo clutch. Now Velo trying to see if he can take it one step above, but it's going to be difficult with so many other contenders still in the lobby. Visuals finds a refresh, trying to see if he can send it forward, but the team on height doing a great job at limiting his options. Sports to try and box up, but immediately gets caught out by Nosip. Whether or not he survives it is another story entirely, but Flixie and Chap, they are fully in control of this secondary height layer, a little bit isolated, trying to remain directly underneath the team on height. Also looking to take advantage of the other duo surrounding them. Alex, Rex is going to have some issues here as Flixie and Chap refuse to give up front side.
And somehow Velo slips by unnoticed up until now. He gained the attention of Flixie. Chap as well. High ground now putting pressure. He's out of build and needs a miracle here to survive because he has no extra heals. 63 HP. His run will come to an end. But for Chap and Flixie, this is the run they were looking for.
It's just getting started. Already pushed up to 112 points. They started off the day with nothing last game in fourth, and now once again we're seeing them to continue thriving in the end game. Meanwhile, Shadow Virgo, they called it. We're winning next game. They said it's gonna be easy. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Was it a pre-fire or was it just straight up premonition? Shadow Virgo trying to make sure that they can bring this one home, but they'll have to deal with the swords of Flixie and Chap. They are really building so much momentum right now on this front side layer. 7 eliminations in total, still trying to track down more. Every single edit opening up, leading to shots sent into other players, and nobody is anywhere near chest yet, but can they make it over this next clip phase?
Trying to make it as calculated as possible. Fizz bomb going down. They have their eyes set in the clouds. High ground we go, and you can even attach to some of these trees. They got to use that to try to take the high ground. Chap gets some good damage, but in comes a third party. Shadow and Virgo, they want some of this fun. They get the elimination on the Flixie, dropping them down further and further into all that chaos. Chap, he's now the only hope for their team.
Issue is he's left as a solo. 5 elims on the board. Can he continue racking it up? Back and forth, he hits the shot needed, but Shadow Virgo continuing to rain down from above. The issue is it's a full do on low. Pablo, Chino, can you make it happen?
This is the moment they've been waiting for. It is their best position on the day. Still more yet to come. Pix just on the other side of their wall. Pablo trying to find the opening shot, but Pix is just so incredibly low. Finally, Chino will bring him down. Chino and Pablo have the world at their feet, but it's all up to whether or not Shadow and Virgo decide to actually shut this one down. Shadow goes up. High ground control still heavily in their favor, and Pablo's finish. It's all up to whether or not Chino can actually bring this one back, but he only has a sliver of HP. But yet still, Chino returning fire, and Virgo finding the final shot.
They called their shot. They said, we are qualifying for Sunday. Whether it was consistency or victory royale, they have kept their word. They have showed up and showed out here on the big stage.
It's rare, but I am speechless. But you made a prediction before this game that you were going to take the victory royale. Virgo, you just said, what did I say? You said you were going to get the victory royale. What was that last moment like?
I mean, we just went for a power play on height. Shadow just said missed up. We went up, eliminated them, and we just won the game from there. It was pretty easy.
You're always keeping your eyes up top, boys. How are you keeping calm in those last moments?
Like I said, we're the best team, and I knew we were going to win that game no matter what. So yeah, when we try, we lock in.
You definitely locked in. Obviously, you're through to Championship Sunday. There's just 8 games now between you and that trophy. Do you really think you don't have tough competition?
No, we definitely do, but I think we can compete with them, so yeah.
But why does it feel like this is your year? How are you guys managing to be so confident? The fact that you just call this Victory Royale is something else.
I mean, it really is just all practice. You know, we're the hardest grinding teammates. Like, we play all day. We both moved to Dallas. We went away from home, and it all paid off.
Well, you know what? We could never have predicted this back in 2024. You guys as a duo placed 30th. Now they're looking like they could take #1. More games after this break.
I got here. I'm popping a message. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100? 100? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Well, you know what? We could never have predicted this. You guys are the players 30. Now they're looking like they could take #1. More games
And so now, Seti, Kanza, Yako,
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. Game number 4 goes on over to Shadow and Virgo. Do you understand? Listen, Fortnite fam, come here. Camera, zoom in more. Do you understand what, as a player? No, more. Players in the halftime show, Shadow and Virgo are like, hey, we're going to go in and we're going to win this next game. And then they go on to do it. Do you understand how crazy, as an idea? Keep zooming, keep going. You understand how
I can see your balls.
That's good. That's good. Production probably hates me. My gosh, Shadow and Virgo. What the heck? They are built different. Do you, again, at this level of competition, Takata, to be like, yeah, man, we're really good. We're going to go ahead. We'll just win the next game. To then win the next game.
They're not liars. That's one thing I can confirm. They do not lie. You've got arguably the best in the world in creative Virgo, IG held by Shadow. I mean, they called it, they did it, and they did not disappoint.
I really liked the way they did it as well. I think when you look at a lot of the hype takes we saw yesterday, it wasn't as crazy. It wasn't the type of hype takes we were seeing for the majority of the season, where you had people playing really deep in the zone and looking to try and make these shot plays upwards with Fizz. This time around, Shadow goes flying up, he hits the bang, and that's exactly what we've seen them do in NA all season long. A very impressive game from a very impressive duo, and a duo that, again, even though they were here in the lower bracket, every team in that Sunday final has to watch out for these two.
Scary stuff. I just can't get over that, dude. My mind is blown to call for that victory out and then immediately come on stage and do it. Wow, Shadow and Virgo, they will definitely be a force to be reckoned with tomorrow. And I feel like this is kind of one of those situations where if I'm a team and I'm maybe even considering doing something like contesting them, I'm thinking like, yo, they just pulled out aura.
Shivers. I'd be scared. I mean, with the amount of confidence they have in those creative-like situations, right? When you're taking a clean 2v2, no third party involved, no other teams trying to join the party uninvited, you don't want to go against Shadow and Virgo.
I got to see these standings. I got to see standings, right?
Let's do it.
We got to do it. Dude, we have 2 games left to go. At the top, Ager's Ritual still holding on. Ignore the -1. Don't worry about it. That just means another team moved on up. They got themselves a victory royale. Pablo and Chino. Oh my gosh. Suddenly 7th place. Up 18 places, Tokata. This is why we say, man, one game can change it all. 11 for them. That was their game.
Absolutely. Speaking of players saying things before the halftime break or during the halftime break and delivering on it, I asked Chino, I saw him in the corridor and I said, yo, bro, what's happening? He said, Lev, man, we just can't get to endgame. I don't know what's happening. We're feeling good, but we just aren't able to get there. This game, he told me, look, we're going to look to continue to play the way we've been playing, focus on our strat, carry some more medkits so we can play in Storm for longer. And look, they're in the end game. They have the game that we know they can have. These are the types of games they were having on EU when they did incredibly well in Grands, where even though you're looking at them here, they don't have many builds to work with, but they just stick together. Both of them playing in the same box, shotgun in hand, and they're always going to hit the key shots that they need. These are 2 of the best individual players in this region.
I mean, they have the experience. They've shown they can perform online. They've shown they can perform at international competitions with the best of the whole world, and it's been surprising that, you know, it's even taken them this long to get a big match like this, but I'm excited to see how it continues.
And that's a great game. Like, the timing of that game is so crucial, because you mentioned it's 2 games remaining. It's crunch time. To move up that rapidly there, it will be a big boost for their confidence moving forward.
And that's what gives me hope, right? Not even for just them. Again, I'm going to keep thinking about all these duos, right? We only have 25 spots. We get through on a victory royale, which means that we're done. We don't have to play any more Fortnite today. We can just focus on tomorrow. Or Tokata, we need to play out these games, try and end in the top 19. So many of these other duos are well outside that bubble, right? They're thinking, with 2 games left, maybe we can't even get points enough. Maybe we need to strike and try for that victory royale. Maybe that's our only way in.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is on. There's 2 more spots left, but for the teams like Pix and Ghost that are in 5th place on the leaderboard after jumping up 8 positions, I mean, it goes back to the narrative I was talking about in game. On EU, a lot of our veterans, our legacy talent, I mean, 2 of our global champions didn't even qualify to here, and now we've got players like Ghost, this up-and-coming rising talent. I honestly thought, Lev, I thought they were going to win this game, but Shadow Virgo, they were too good.
Yeah, I think the great thing for Pix and Ghost is, again, they've been really good. They've been really solid. They haven't had much of an opportunity to showcase the type of talent they've had playing together, but we've seen it in bursts when they've been playing with other people. Pix and Ghost, Pix in particular, right? Yesterday we saw a great day for Polish Fortnite as far as Dom and Dimash, Cammy and Ari doing as good as they did. Pix looking to try add himself into that crew as well. And for a player like Ghost to have this day to really get used to the feel of the stage, get that experience when, you know, 11-2K's waffling in your ear and you can hear it in the speakers, right? He can handle that. He can handle anything.
It's tough, man. It's definitely tough. We saw another duo as well, Chap and Flixie popping off. We've already seen anytime this duo comes up, the crowd goes crazy. Man, I just keep thinking, man, 2 games left. We need to hang on. We need to make some changes. We need to go all in. I mean, for Chap and Flixie, rather, I feel like they're doing okay, right? We got to stay the course, right, Lever? Or maybe it's that time. Maybe we go crazy. Like,
I mean, I don't know. Like, are the Chap and Flixie fans still in the building? I mean, it's a bit quiet for the Chap and Flixie. When they walked out, it was loud. And they need that support going into these last couple of games because, again, we know if you've been watching EU, their performances have been inconsistent. But more often than not, Zeke, when they need to get it done, they do just enough to push themselves over that line.
When they kicked it off too, the fire, it wasn't fueled up, it wasn't roaring, but after that 3rd match, they got the 4th place, and you can tell how quickly it turned for them. The motivation, the confidence, it was instantly back to where they're in their own element. Another top 5 placement now jumped right up that leaderboard in literally 2 matches, Zeke.
Yeah, some of these players are players that they're not going to come out and just have this crazy pop-off performance. There's almost like a period of heating up. But Tokata, I'm scared, man. 2 games left to go. Let's check out that standings. Let's see who is currently in that 19th place. Coming back to it, Tokata right now, 90 points. GRX Randy, look, up 17 places. But again, Tokata, we've got 2 games left to go. That heating up, if you're not there, you need to have it right now.
I know the French fans are scared as well. I mean, we've got 18th place. Monty Skyjump dropped down 8 positions, right kind of at that cutoff. Right now, 19th is at 90 points. Yesterday, if we look at top 19, it was around low 130s, that bubble, but will it be the same today?
Mr. Savage and Velo sit in 24th, not the spot they want to be in, but within touching distance of being able to push themselves above. Still so much talent on this page who's yet to do it. Nathan and Nebs, big names there. Harvey and Diminished, again, a duo that you would expect to be able to have made it through. We have the likes of Sato, Podesai, Epic Woe, and Pump. I mean, for some of these teams to not make it would be a big, big upset.
I'm scared for Javi and Diminished too. I mean, yesterday they were like 1 elimination off qualifying, and now once again they're right outside of that bubble. I know they're feeling the pressure.
Man, 2 games left to go. It's now or never, duos. We need to put the pieces on the table because after this, 25 duels will be going home. Casters, second to last game. Take it away.
I think at this stage of the game, I've seen so many third parties. I have to continue the third parties here on stage. Vinny, welcome.
I'm excited, man. I'm not quite as tall as Levin, so we can't really do this height gimmick as well, but I'm excited. We got 2 more games of competition. So many big teams that are actually outside of that top 19. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens.
But so many teams that are also just so close. I mean, the striking range, it's right there. It's visible, but can they actually overcome? We'll find out here in Game 5.
Game number 5, the penultimate chance for our duos to make their way into the grand finals. A huge game for so many of our teams outside of that top 19. And for those that are in it, it's just about staying.
And it's coming as no surprise that yet again, Medius and iDrop are looking to try and see whether or not they can win out on an off-spawn battle they've been dealing with all day long. But more importantly still, Jacob, whether or not Podesai and Sato are going to be able to have any sort of comeback potential, because we are in game 5. Medius and iDrop are nearly there, and it starts right here, right now. Chi and Giannis so committed to this rock fight, but it is just sticks and stones for both these teams. Giannis gonna depart first of all, utilizing some of that bush tech to avoid taking any kind of fall damage, but the damage has been done. Both of these teams definitely injured.
Yeah, unfortunately enough, Giannis, the down that they were able to get on top of that rock, he has a chance at the revive. Interesting enough, he's not necessarily going to go for it just yet, just trying to drop down and keep pressure. He does have a loot advantage here, and his teammate is down below. So yes, he is going for that revive. So Giannis, you're definitely on a timer here about how many decisions you can make.
Giannis going to do right there. We're going to have to wait and see as we move on over to a team that had a fantastic last game. Pablo and Chino all but qualified through, but they need to make something happen here at Sandy Strip in order to stay in this game. This is a big game for them, Taka.
First things first, they want to get rid of Minipio and Pupu, and they are sick of having to deal with being contested. And they know even if they bring it back in today's competition and make it for their seat on that Battle Bus in finals, they still have to deal with Victor V and Kanata. So it's not like the off-spawn contest is ever going to let up. It's about ensuring that they don't have those small little mistakes in the next stage.
Yeah, and at least they're getting a good amount of practice. I say that loosely because we're in a live tournament on land across so many teams from around the world, but at least they're playing a little bit more and more like themselves in each and every passing game. I said it during the action in that last one, this is the best we've seen them play so far. And I want to see more of our teams, especially the ones that might be a little bit further on that leaderboard than you would expect. Get a little bit more aggressive, take control of your destiny.
This, though, bit of a fight here. It's Alex Reckless down. Alex is a solo. Liam and Jace having to close on in here, but taking it very, very calmly. Playing off on above as Jace drops on down. Alex looking for the revive onto Reckless. Not quite going to be able to find it. The pressure keeps coming through from up above. Alex trying to do anything to find that initial shot. Hits an angle, but not quite connecting with the shot. And Reckless is able to get finished there as well. So huge moment here for Liam and Jace to close out this fight.
Alex just stuck between a rock and a hard place, though, and dealing with the likes of Jace, just too healthy. The HP advantage working against him entirely. 160 points. Liam and Jace are just freaking of confidence right now, and they have good reason to do so, but Clicks on the other hand, it's all going to come down to a Game 6 performance. And it's not even about consistency. It's not about a strong placement. They have to win.
That is absolutely insane. Going down, they gave up the majority of Wonky Land. They try to push a whole nother team to catch off guard, but that's been Ghost and Pix's strategy all day long. They want those teams to go out there and feel a little bit too comfortable, so that way they're waiting in the shadows and they strike and take them down. They move one step closer to Championship Sunday, but you see the drops continue to move around. Minute and Salco, that was one of our 3 teams landing at Sandy Strip. Now they go back to the spot where they were landing in the upper bracket.
Yeah, back to the basics, back to what they know, and it's going to be interesting to see now what happens to Clicks, of course, in that final game. If there's a player that can rise to the occasion, if there's someone that's going to win that final game, it's going to be huge for them.
A little bit of an opportunity here to review what's been going down with Chap, and Giannis, unfortunately, won't be able to withstand the pressure here. Excellent usage of their time, though, just trying to make sure that they take out anyone they might be able to stumble across. Badil and Ju, very much a similar mentality, though. They definitely like a little bit more eliminations, but they're really just looking for consistent placements.
Yeah, and he could just feel the arena cheering these guys on. I could close my eyes, have our observers switch through our POVs, and I'll know exactly when they're on Badil and Ju every single time. Ritual and Agers looking to continue to get aggressive as well. Over towards Frigid Fortress, they essentially already have their spot secured, but they don't want to just take part in the day. They want to take over. This is a huge warm-up opportunity for a team like Agers and Ritual.
Huge fight, though, for Osid and Scare. These guys 52 points outside of that top 19 threshold. So we've got 2 ends of the stick right here in Agers and Ritual. They're already qualified through. They're more than happy to take this fight. But for Scare and Osid, this could be the fight that defines their weekend. Will we be seeing them tomorrow? This is such a huge fight for them to win.
Scarno should also know that they have time working against them, because even if they're able to draw out this battle, it doesn't fare them any better because they still only have 52 points. Even if you take out the duo that's contesting you, you're still going to need so much more heavy lifting to be involved. Flixie and Chap, on the other hand, though, they are just happy to try and keep things through and through. But it's Ju and Vadil that are on the receiving end of it this time. And Chap, he's just not letting up. Maybe even a little bit of fire lit underneath him. Reason very openly trying to cheer on his former trio mate. He wants to see Chap in the finals. And Chap might just be able to do it if he keeps playing the way he has been.
Super aggressive. They get the elimination onto Ju. And with Ju and Vadil going down, you see them in 11th place on that leaderboard. They're high up, much more high up than top 19 for now. But what they're doing is they're inadvertently allowing teams at the bottom of the leaderboard to get more points because the top side of the leaderboard aren't taking them away anymore.
Yeah, tough there. German on German violence, really difficult for this crowd. He sort of had a bit of a weird reaction there. It's like, do we cheer? Do we boo? I don't know what's going on. But for a team here in Velo and Mr. Savage, they are outside of that top 19. How do they approach this? Are they going to try and go for that win? Are they going to try and make that crazy high play in endgame? We've seen them have a little bit of solo clutches from Velo. We've seen that throughout the season as well from these guys. It's been one of their downfalls, really, is those endgames haven't been together. They haven't been consistent enough in those situations. So they need to make it all happen now. With 2 games to go, this could be the end of their weekend if they don't make something happen quickly.
Definitely want to give Velo his flowers, though. He has been left in a couple of very difficult positions and still managed to come up with some form of placement points through it. But now, all they really need to do is synchronize. If they can make it through a solid endgame here, that could be the separating factor between outside of top 19 and making it in.
Just unfortunate. I see Nebs just in the water, swimming along. He's hoping to go towards the north so that way he can try to get the reboot back onto Nathan. But then here you have it. Sky Jump Momsy trying to make a lurk play happen onto Ghost and Pigs. If this one breaks out into a fight, that'll be a blessing for Nathan. But if it does not, you just have 2 teams that can still float around. The shots are going to be fired out, but you can see what they're after. 2 empty item slots for the Sky Jump inventory, just picking up bandages. So you see they're just after scraps.
Yeah, they gambled a lot on that play right there. They were hoping that one of those guys was going to go over to that chest, they could catch them off guard, make a little sneak play, but because they didn't make that play, Ghost and Pix, they're now a little bit behind Skyjump and Momsy. They didn't get all that damage that they would have wanted. They didn't get that refresh, so for now, it's just about playing catch-up.
Nebs might be far out enough in open waters, though, to avoid the peripherals, at least from Pix and Ghost, but actually bringing back his teammate will be a whole different slew of problems. Osid and Scare, though, they have not been able to find a conclusion at this exchange over by Frigid Fortress, and this is starting to become a worst-case scenario because the more time invested, the more materials invested, it's not like they're having great opportunities to refarm all of those mats. Meanwhile, Agers, Ritual, they can do whatever they feel like.
Yeah, for Scare and Osid, they essentially need a decent game here to keep them in contention of consistency, because if they go down or even plays some more of this game out and don't really get much to show for it, they're going to be another team on that list that needs a victory royale going into our last game of the day. But as the dust does settle, Ages of Ritual probably get bored. They go one way. Osid and Scare use this as an opportunity to finally disengage. For the majority of this early game, they haven't been able to loot up. They haven't been able to get materials, so they are so far behind the curve.
That's been their problem, especially when you get the south zone like this. It becomes very, very difficult to then continue to try and catch up with the rest of your game. Liam and Jace, we saw them in that fight against Alex earlier on in the game. That was a difficult one for them. They couldn't close it out that quickly. So for them right now, they're looking for a little bit of a lurk play here from Carillion and Yagu. What are they going to do? Are they going to wait? Of course, it's in the storm, so that's, the damage is ticking, Taco. What play are they going to make? And yeah, they're just going to wait for them to go on through.
Liam and Jace aren't in any sort of rush, but an opportunity is an opportunity, and if Carillion exposes himself for 1 second too long, or Jargu even, Jace and Liam, they can line up the shots. It's a great opener. Carillion completely flushed out here. But Jace, Liam, will they be able to fully close it out? The delay has been set in stone. Jargu with the backup measures means that Liam and Jace forced to pull back.
Yeah, and I like that decision right there, because it's easy to feel like you got the green light to go. You just did over 100 damage. They're already weak to the zone, but they are also weak. They're one shot away from going down themselves, so they make that smart IQ play to go ahead and disengage, heal up, and then make it to zone. QNDX and Phantom trying to do the same thing. 90 points. They don't even need a massive game here. Again, you just need to stay in contention to making it possible to qualify through consistency in last game.
It's a really awkward position to be in where they are right now. They could need a win going into the last game if this game isn't quite as good. They're not so far into that top 19 where it makes it so that they can just play out their placements. Really, really awkward for them right now as Chino and Pablo Wingu in this fight inside of the Storm as well. You can see the distribution of teams here. Chino and Pablo Wingu in 7th place. Team they're fighting all the way down in 43rd. So a huge fight for both teams here. Chino and Pablo look like they're going to be rotating.
All Taya and Bobby are hoping to do is try and dissuade Pablo and Chino from wanting to follow up on that engagement. But Guerrilla and Jargu, they've now seemingly caught themselves in a fight with Chap and Felixi. But I have a feeling Chap and Felixi were likely the ones who tried to start this one. They've been picking fights the entire lobby so far, and they don't seem like they have any intentions of slowing down.
Yeah, I wouldn't either for Chap and Flixie. The way this day started wasn't necessarily the best. They even got surprise contested in one of those games, going down off spawn. But since then, they've been putting their foot to the pedal and speed running their way through this lobby. But now Salco and Minute, they want some of those fights, but Minute immediately gets shut down by Chap. A huge shutdown as he goes back to back, taking down Salco as well.
Huge, huge, huge from Chap and Flixi right there, showing why they're one of those duos in these sort of lobbies that you can rely on in those big fights. They do it in EU, they're doing it on this big stage here as well, and they're 2nd place right now, so could they move up into that 1st place? Really important they got that fight done quickly as well. There's another team lurking, so the speed at which they finished that fight was absolutely crucial.
Jargu and Carillion are also probably very happy about the fact that Chap and Flixi were so distracted by Minute and Selco, but teams just continue to try and aggress. Liam and Jace also getting a little fraggy with it. Epic Whale and Pump, on the other hand, they've really got to do what they can to try and scope out the rest of the lobby. Riptides has just been so back and forth. There haven't necessarily been a whole lot of opportunities for them to even present themselves in the endgame just because of dealing with that contest.
Yep, but all you need is that one big game to spark that fire. And then from there, there's no looking back. Chino and Pablo here in this day is a huge example of that. Jason, Liam as well. All you need is start to build that momentum. They already have 6 eliminations. And if I'm Chino and Pablo, I wouldn't have shot their way. I wouldn't have gained their attention because they're all but qualified, almost nothing to lose, and they're looking to get aggressive here. This is 2 more eliminations, 8 more points, 1 step closer to the top of the leaderboard as they're barreling down, trying to get control. But Liam bites off a little bit more than he could chew. Chino makes the play to take him down.
They're fighting one of the best fighting teams in World of Fortnite, so that was only going to end one way when you anchor Chino like that. Huge elimination for him, 460 above the damage threshold as well. And you can see them in these games. They get so many of these eliminations, so much damage early on in the game, and you can see it just compared to the rest of the lobby. That's what they're so good at.
Respect the hustle out of Liam and Jace, but unfortunately, Chino and Pablo have already determined who's going to come out on top in this one. Jace takes yet another big shot, and that's going to do it. Pablo finds an elimination there, and now these guys will be able to move forward, no problems whatsoever. That last lobby really seems like it started something big for Chino and Pablo.
Yeah, each and every second that passes in this game, it feels like they're just moving closer and closer to the promised land. Phaser, King, we saw early on Clix and Higgs go for a fight towards the top side of the map, which means Phaser and King relatively uncontested over towards Wonky Land. And when you look at teams and you're uncontested, especially when you're at one of the best BOIs in the game, you have to make these games count.
This is now or never right now for Phaser and King. You don't know what Clix and Higgs are going to do in that final game. It's going to be so, so important for them to make the most of this game. Likewise, Sphinx and Mudge, you don't know what's going to happen in that sort of off-spawn situation. They've struggled today. Taco looking good in this game, though, looking above the Storm Surge threshold. Looking good.
all Muzz and Spinks were after at the start of this day was seeing whether or not they could actually find quick conclusions towards that off spawn, but Nathan and Nebs just haven't provided it. They seemingly counter-stratted exactly for that circumstance, and even with Muzz and Spinks trying to go them into the engagement, they just weren't taking the bait, and I can't blame them because it's a complete stark difference of the two dynamics between those teams, and it's left them in a really rough spot, but they're not the only ones trying to see if they can fare for better weather here. Marius, tough spot.
Really, really tough spot. Definitely not home and dry right now, and Marius, known as one of the best fraggers in the world, haven't really seen that from him in the EU for a little while right now. What better way to solidify your spot, not only in the grand finals, but also as one of the better fraggers in the world. Reclaim that spot. All that hype that was surrounding your name has to now do it as a solo. Needs to break into those placement points just to propel himself and iDrop into that position, because of course it's not going to be easy for them, Jacob, but this is the player that you want in these situations.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be needed because, again, he doesn't need to win. He's at 108 or so points. He just needs to get as close as possible to that threshold and then, again, perform well in game number 6. Flixie, Chap, 541. Again, the spark has not gone out from these guys. Elim after Elim, they're just getting better with each and every passing game. And now they're just looking at the backside of zone because they pulled it. Everybody else on the north end, that's a max pull.
It's almost like everybody kind of just forgot for a while now that Chap was heavily regarded as one of the best, and now he's trying to showcase exactly why. His fighting abilities are just still at the top here. Flixie and Chap waiting to see whether or not they can actually pick off some other pieces pie here. Duos trying to scrap their way in, but Chad realizes lost track of one of the teams on high ground, will pay the price, but he's still up and running, so that's going to at least keep them going forward.
Huge refresh for them. Epic Whale and Pump shaping up to look for that early high ground right now as well. This is a team that desperately need a good game right here. You want to take as much pressure off of that last game as possible. They're in a really nice position. 0 eliminations so far, but above that threshold as well. So they're able to keep a lot of those heals. You can see it by their inventories. They really need a big game here to solidify their spot.
Yeah, we've seen so many teams with plenty of eliminations, but they haven't fared well on Storm Surge, which ultimately caused the downfall in their games. It's the opposite here this time for Epic Well and Pump. 0 eliminations, but more than enough Storm Surge. That grants a little bit of a freedom, a flexibility to move through some of these games. A Sky Jump gets a big elimination onto Nathan, sending him and Nebs back to the lobby with 1 game left.
The problem is Sky Jump got that elimination before he managed to tank any ticks of Storm, so he doesn't actually get the health siphon behind it. He's going to find himself still incredibly low before he heads in, but Nebs, this is how the first part went down. This is why Nathan just folded immediately. A great awareness check.
Really, really important for them right now, as well as King and Phaser. We mentioned it. These guys need to have a solid game, but look at this. Down and out of that Storm Surge threshold, 239. They're getting hit as well, Jacob. They need to try and take as much damage as possible without dealing enough as well. This is absolutely huge for them. Hopping inside of the box, trying to get some shots away, but there's angles from different areas that are tagging them up. Phaser now down to a solo. He needs to clutch up.
Yeah, in that moment, he's kind of popped above the damage threshold. Only 1 player needs to go down, and it won't be a worry for him, but right now it's active. 1 more tick. That's all he can take. Needs to find damage and doesn't get it. Phaser King, they go down, and they have 1 game left. Everybody else here in this lobby right now really has to make this moment matter, and nobody's really claiming the high ground yet. Savage loses his teammate. You see him scrambling around. Only 100 builds to his name. He's just trying to break through a wall. He needs a miracle right now. Is he going to get it granted?
Right, Jess, Chap still looking to see who else he can take out. Unfortunately, the player threshold has fallen low enough. Savage won't have to worry about the surge damage, but he still has to contend with other players in the lobby. He's trying to do what he can, breaking through all of these pre-existing builds. They're just slowing him down, forced to play through that backside of zone, but he'll at least find a moment to pop the last bits of his chug jug. Whether or not he's going to be able to escape the eyesight of the teams ahead of him, though, that's another issue entirely. He's got to stay low, out of sight, out of mind, looking for his opportunity, but it's just not going to connect. Savage still needing just 1 more. A refresh would be everything in this instance, but no one is permitting it to go through.
He's looking for something, trying to find anything to get those builds back up. Of course, that HP as well. It is now or never for Mr. Savage. Huge moment for him to solo clutch. Prove why you are the IGL in this trio. Prove why you have the most experience in this duo as well. Waiting, lurking, backside of zone, looking up at height as well, not going to go for it, hasn't got the build. Getting looked at from so many other players as well, Jacob. This is being difficult for him.
Yeah, but blessed in this moment. The Fizz miss down below, getting some shield. He has the low grab effect. He's trying to move his way through, gets a flank onto one, misses a crucial shot, but Savage has not given up just yet. The zone is closing in. He knows he needs something big here. A full duo to his left, waiting for him to peek out the box. Shockwave sends him flying. A lost opportunity there. The window is closing. No Sif is inside, trying to put pressure. He shockwaves over. They're just taking away every opportunity by escaping from Mr. Savage.
But fortunately for Savage, there's still other players in the lobby wiping each other out. He can't break through that last metal wall, but he still managed to secure a decent amount of solo placement points. Every little bit helps, and we'll see just how Game 6 shapes up. But for right now, Akira, Karama, straight towards height, but it's Phantom and QND looking to play spoiler to that.
They were waiting in the wings, QNDX and Phantom, and Akira and Karama have to now drop on down below. QNDX and Phantom, the duo from Middle East, claiming the high ground, looking on down at the rest of the lobby, but Akira and Karama are still lurking. They find a sword and take down Phantom. Huge elimination, huge knock. Can they find QNDX as well? Akira down. It's all up to Karama, up on height versus QNDX. What's he gonna do inside the box? QNDX as well. Huge refresh.
Top 5 position, make it top 4. Placement points are flying in, but no Sif and Izzy. They're on the high ground. They used everybody's moment of distraction there to take it for themselves. They're one of 2 duos left in this game. Teus and King are going to be down below. We know Karama's still alive. He's a solo that's trying to run rampant here. He has the build to take control of the front side of the zone. He's all the way down below, but no Sif is there as well.
Karama, though, he's excellent in these types of situations. He's a solo clutcher through and through, but with only 11 builds to his name and a duo directly ahead of him. King and a look to challenge. It's not the one you're thinking of, though. And Karama proving why he's still able to escape. 1 HP in a dream, but he's not going to be able to break through. No Sif, Terry to take all the credit here now. King is weak, but can he close it?
And he closed it out. No Sif's down to a solo here. Huge moments. King up above. Teus goes down all the way up to Teus up on height. Fuku now as well as Nosif. It's solo FNCS.
This is essentially what we're going to see later this year. Fukun making the plays from up above, but Teus, he's in the driver's seat. Elimination's down below. It gets it stolen away. Fukun is trying to use the Cypher to stay alive, but there's no build on Teus. Shockwave, the only option, tries to go up, and he wins the fight. Welcome to Championship Sunday.
Fukun needed that, but so did Teus and King. The matter is, they're the ones who really struck in some of the closing hours here on day 2. Perfect timing, perfect solution, and we'll see them in finals.
And King, they're all on the other side of the arena, but we've got to celebrate them, Düsseldorf! We've got Ricardo here to translate. Oh my working. How insane was that final moment?
Me fala dos últimos momentos.
Eu tô muito feliz. Essa partida foi bizarra. Tava muito louco ali no final e é isso.
I'm like so happy. This match was crazy and a lot of things were happening at the end. I cannot even explain.
I'm just getting you guys to turn around because there are so many people around the world who want to celebrate you at the moment. Teus, going through the lower bracket was so tough. It could have been that you wouldn't qualify if you hadn't got this victory royale. What did you guys talk about in the player break to make this happen?
So, vocês poderiam não ter classificado se vocês não tivessem essa vitória. O que vocês falaram durante o break para conseguir essa vitória?
Cara, posso falar? A gente tinha mais 3 partidas, então falei com o King pra gente manter o foco. Porque cada partida tem que dar ali para não tomar ali.
They just talk and say like, let's stay focused. We still have a chance. It has 3 matches left, and they managed to get it out.
You are the second Brazilian duo to make it through the lower bracket today. You are going to be in great company tomorrow. Do you think that Brazil can win the FNCS Major Summit?
King, você acha que o Brasil vai ganhar o FNCS Summit?
Eu acho que qualquer um tem chance, é só acreditar. A gente grinda muitos dias para isso, então acho que a gente consegue sim.
He said we just have to believe it. We have the potential. We have to believe that we can make it.
Düsseldorf, do we believe in choosing King? We're going to head to a break. When we come back, it's just one more game until we solidify the Grand Finals lobby.
I'll go here. I'm popping a med bit. Wait, sure. Got 6 builds? No. Wait, if you're mid, wait. 100? 100? Oh my god! Look! Oh my god! Oh my god!
We just have to believe it. We have the potential. We have to believe it. That we can make it.
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit game. Number 5 wraps up. King BR Teus find themselves a victory royale in the penultimate game. Massive for the duo. Tokata, this is big, right? You know, obviously, if you're in a situation where you need to either try with everything you've got to break into that top 19 or get a victory royale, maybe that was the second last chance to try and get that VR, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. The fans were excited. What I'm thinking, they were landing South Battlewood Boulevard. If we look at the players that have qualified from there, you got Benno Curve, you got Sky Scroll above them. So I'm curious, now that they've secured that position, what are they going to do tomorrow?
Oh, man, I'll be honest, see, you mentioned some of those calls. When the casters made that call for certain players of, hey, this next game you have to win, or that's it for you. Nothing else is gonna work. That sent chills down my spine. It just gives you the sense of urgency of the point we're at. It's why King and Teos' win is so impressive as far as, again, stopping them from having to deal with that whatsoever. A lot of people refer to the smaller regions, right? And they say EU and NA Central, and then every other region's a smaller region. I've been saying to people for the past year, guys, you can't include Brazil in that. You got to take Brazil a bit more seriously as a region, because not only do they have so many people who play, but the quality of the players as well is impressive. They have 2 wins today. They might get another one, who knows? It's a great day to be from the Brazil region.
They're getting wins. They're holding height longer than NA and EU. I mean, are they really smaller regions? What are we witnessing today?
Dude, I don't know. It's just something different in the air. This is the summit. It's kind of a sneak peek at what a global could look like, but again, only a single game left to go. I'd love to start taking a look at those leaderboards, right? Oh man, with a single game left to go, remember, if you're just tuning in, first off, you've missed a ton of Fortnite. You've missed 5 incredible games. Go back, watch them. With 1 game left to go, this is the lower bracket. We need a VR. We need to end in the top 19 if we want to proceed to tomorrow's finals, or the summit run is done. Epic Whale in this last game, finding a bit of a moment, right? Some momentum to kind of maybe try and piece something together, but guys, with only a single game left to go, you know, it's gonna come down to that wire. But look, 20th place, Takada, Epic Whale right there, pumped right on the ball. And it's getting the tie between him and Sato at Futasai at 112 points.
I mean, I even see other names. Mr. Savage, Epic Whale is close above. Visuals, Braids, Marius, Eye Drop. I mean, these do not look like names that shouldn't be on the cutoff. I mean, Epic Whale and Pump specifically, Epic Whale, this is one of 5 players that qualified both to the 2019 World Cup and this Major 1 Summit LAN. The issue is, the only player that's qualified so far is Thomas HD. Then you've got King from Argentina, you've got Epic Whale, you've got Mr. Savage. All of these other 4 players just have not made it yet. Every single one of them outside of qualifying range, and all they have is one more chance, one more shot in this final game of the day.
Yeah, I think when you look at a lot of these guys that you sort of mentioned there, right? We have guys like Clicks, Mr. Savage, King, Epic World, these guys who we love them for all the amazing memories they've given us, but we big them up for their longevity. When it comes to longevity, you want longevity of doing well and doing good, right? And so the pressure is on for all of those players, because we know that they're more than able, right? It's not a question of ability, it's about their execution. And ultimately, a couple of those names will just miss out. I don't expect to see all of them make it in, and so it's about making sure that last game counts.
That's right. Well, really quickly, before we continue the talk, we actually have a blast from the past, rather.
Okay.
It's a Vivid masterclass.
Oh, he still does those?
What's up, guys? Yeah, listen, Iyamzo going into that game was sitting 20th place, a little bit less comfortable than I'm sure he wanted to be. Let's take a quick look at what their game plan kind of looks like. Obviously, they're going to be landing at the same exact spot that we see Acorn and Bolts do, right? We know exactly how this drop spot kind of lands. The powerful thing about this drop spot is, of course, the ability to use the launch pad. As you can see here, these guys are going to be able to use that launch pad to just come all the way down here and land directly in the center of the zone. That is such a good spot. We've seen Acorn do it. We've seen Iyamzo and Josh be able to do that every single one of the games so far today. Their problem right now is not necessarily making it to the end game, because they have been utilizing that launch pad very, very well. They've also been able to keep themselves above the Storm Surge very, very effectively as well. The only kind of thing that prevents them from even breaking into the top 10 right now is potentially some decision making around when they do get put on the edge of these zones. As you can see right here, they are still technically in the next zone, so they're going to actually opt to go ahead and stay. But the problem is actually going to reside with their decision to not just immediately go towards the center of the zone right now. As you can see right now, if they did it right now, they could get it completely for free. But instead, what they're going to want to do is they're going to go ahead and just take shots and kind of prevent all of these teams from entering in by them. But what makes it very, very hard to maintain this position and make it still as effective as it is you can't, as a team, prevent all of these teams from sort of making rotations around them. Later on in the game, that easy rotation towards the center of the zone that we just kind of looked at is going to be cut off. So I feel like that could potentially be one of their hardships. That being said, I'm kind of judging their game plan as it currently stands. That last game, they did perfectly fine. They got 12th place, and they're looking good going into the last game.
Dude, we should let that guy do more of those. You know, we're drawing closer here. We're about to get ready to kick off the final game of the lower bracket, boys. I kind of want to get your thoughts. Really tough spot, right? After this, a bunch of duos are going to go home, right? And others will rise up and start preparing for tomorrow's finals, where game plan has to be a bit different. Any advice, anything you want to see?
I don't know if the word's advice. I mean, it's more how I'm feeling, my emotions. Because as I look through this list and I look at all the legacy, the champions, the names that are not currently in that bubble to qualify, I'm honestly I'm surprised. I mean, the era of Fortnite competitive, it might be changing.
It's a big moment. You said it's gonna be time to go home, Zeke, and I think the saying goes, what? Go big or go home.
Yeah.
For a lot of these teams, we've seen them have success over the years, but none of that matters unless you can do it in this final game. Oh, I'm excited. These are the games we live for in Fortnite, right? Ultimately, a lot of these players, we won't get to see them past today.
Yeah, and like obviously I feel like I in this situation I normally would be like really like more amped, but part of me is sad, right? Like these are some of the very best players from all around the world. They've flown out here. They've really given us everything. They've left everything on the stage. But some will be going home after this. So I think for all of us here, we just need to keep cheering on those teams, whoever it is, if it's a Savage, if it's an Epic Whale, whoever that may be, cheer that team on, right? Anything can change. This one game can be the difference maker for every single duo out there. Some might be the top 19 right now that might fall out. Others might rise. People at the very bottom of the leaderboard can get a VR and everything changes. The top 19 could see a VR pulling everyone else up. It's so complex. It's so unbelievably complex. Dude, if we don't get a Mr. Savage W, I'm gonna freak out. But I mean, I can't lie, guys. I'm a fan favorite of Muzz and Sphinx. If we don't see them make it on through either, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
I'm at a loss for words as well, Zeke. I mean, some of the names, as you can see, like Muzz and Sphinx, who were so close yesterday, still not able to make it. But as Levin was saying, they have one more opportunity, one last chance to prove what they're capable of. Whether it be a legacy veteran team, whether it be new up-and-coming talent, now is the moment to show what you're capable of.
In the case of Muzz and Sphinx, this is a duo that consistently has just had so many doubters, right? But they've been able to overcome hurdle after hurdle after hurdle in this long race that is this season. If they stumble at the final two hurdles, it only just reinforces the narrative surrounding their ceiling as players. They have to push through that now.
Yeah, man, I feel like, looking around the room, some of these players, those mentals are fractured or on the cusp. I mean, with so many different names out there, I mean, even someone like Akira and Karama, right, trying to fight through. We saw for a moment last game they had height, and Akira goes down, Karama left a kind of solo clutch. They end up with a 9th place finish there, but still, job's not done.
Job is not finished. You can hear the M8 fans cheering them on. They were so close to making it happen. The good news for this duo is they have racked up a significant amount of points. They've been performing well, and now in this last match, all they have to do is keep playing like they were in these previous matches.
Yeah, I mean, Karama showcasing why a lot of people in EU have been hyping him up this year, as far as just being able to stay in the game, clutch up some extra points for the duo. Just the one little bit of HP, but regardless, a successful game. And I really did think that was going to be the game that was, ultimately theirs. And you see the fans there very excited, very happy whenever these guys pop up on screen. And understandably, they've had what has been a somewhat turbulent season, you could say. But the performance today has showed us that they are still a threat to the rest of the competition.
What I like about this duo is I feel like we're seeing a new level of Akira and Karama. We see them make it to finals. We see them always make it to these competitions, but they haven't quite consistently gotten those top placements, and now's the time to show what you're capable of.
Yeah, you almost want to send that message, right? Hey, we're coming out, lower bracket, we're heading up into finals. You want to try and make some moves against us, contest us. Rotate on over third parties. Don't try it, right? Don't try it. I want to go back to those standings, right? We got to keep taking a look at the bubble. Those points are way too close right now. Obviously at the top 10, 162. Keep that in your mind, Fortnite fam, as we go into this final game. That's top 10 as it stands right now. Remember, 20th place, tied with 19th, by the way, is 112 points. And even if we rolled on over to the next page, 110 points, 108, 108, 100, right? Like, Kokada, if any of these teams in that top 19 make a mistake and they fall early, everyone else will immediately enter a frenzy.
It's way too close, and not only that, you can look at the duo that's #1 right now in the consistency standings. After the start of the day, their first matches, they only had 12 points, and in 3 games, they've jumped from literally the bottom of the leaderboard to first place in the standings in 3 matches. So it is definitely possible to make that comeback happen, but you gotta pop off, Les.
Zeke, I want to quote one of my favorite Fortnite analysts.
Vivid.
I think he said, I feel like it all comes down to this. One more game remaining. Legacy's on the line. It's the part where I take off the headset and start going crazy. No, we're not doing that bit yet. Look, it really is that, right? We highlighted some of these legacy players who have had great moments. They need to have a big one here, because ultimately seeing some of these teams go home without getting a chance to really fight for the trophy tomorrow, it would be a disappointment, not just us here on the desk, but I'm sure to a lot of the fans. So they got to pull up the goods.
Yeah, man. Dude, I just keep thinking about Clicks and Higgs, right? Just as one of the duos who is trying to fight their way back in. But it's okay, right? Again, we have this one game right here, right now. It doesn't matter how your day has been going. It doesn't matter what your off-spawn situation is or what your rotates are or your third party. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Right now, you can get a victory royale, be outside that top 19, and change the trajectory of your duo's FNCS career moving forward. Suddenly find yourself in the finals tomorrow. Suddenly you're winning the summit. Like, anything can happen.
Mr. Savage, Epic Whale, Clicks, King. There's just too many names that are outside of this bubble. And with only 1 shot left, the pressure is on. It's time to show what they're made of.
Right here, right now, one final game to close out the lower bracket for the last time today. Casters, take it away.
I can't believe that Levin actually hit us all with the bait and switch. We were ready for the hype man moment, but maybe it's just something he's trying to say for finals. After all, right now, we're just trying to see who's locking in for that battle bus tomorrow anyway.
I think the game carries that hype going into this last one. So many big names. We talked about it going into this second last game. It was like, hang on, there's a lot of big names here. They need to clutch up. Again, it's now or never, Jacob, even more so in this game.
Yeah, on day 1, you kind of saw the start of the tournament. Well, forget what I was about to say, because the last game of the day is ready. Who goes to finals? Let's find out. Last game of the day, and you really see the difference of the flow of how these games went from the upper bracket game 1 yesterday, where I think we had 85 or so alive when the first storm surge hit. It's getting less and less as each and every game passes here. There's 88 up here in this game, but I think with everything on the line, a victory royale, a must for some, or high elim games for others, we're gonna see this one speed through.
Already a different change of pace here, though. Giannis and Cheatin', they don't have to fight it out. Not for this final lobby, but more importantly still, Jacob, I think the big thing is that we're witnessing what could potentially be Crash Out Nation, because there are duos whose only option is to get a victory royale.
One of these could be happening right now. I drop Sato taking down 1. Marius the only one left. They have the HP advantage. Marius and iDrop are out. Podesai and Sato survive.
That is tough, but for Podesai and Sato, this is the moment Levin was talking about. Dreams can come reality as a Beeb surprise contested in this last game over towards Sus Studios. Randu and GR Rex, they chose to stray away from the fight of Giannis and Cheatin', bringing the fight on over towards this side of the map, and they already got that elimination onto Cam.
Sorry, Jacob, I'm just still not over what we just witnessed. Redius and iDrop were winning that off spawn all day long, but they lose the one they needed most still. hope not completely gone here for GRX. That is until Aviv puts him into the dirt, and Aviv knows just how desperate he is for this one to vote in his favor because he cannot afford to lose out up against Randu, but it's all over. Randu is going to be the sole survivor here at Sus Studios.
What a clutch that was. That keeps them in it. Aviv needed it, but so did those guys. But look who's here. We've got a third party. It's Cheated and Yanis making their way on over. What will happen there? But another team that needs a big game. It's Muzz and Sphinx, and they take down Nathan.
Hey, to start the day, Sphinx say these guys have been running from him. They went ahead and finally caught up to him and get the elimination. Again, these are the games that truly matter. They started this one with around 66 or so points. They get those 8 because of these 2 eliminations here. That first one on an Ebs, he was out of position by himself. Muzz strikes him down.
And remember, Nathan and Ebs outside of that qualification now, so they will not be qualifying through to tomorrow. For Muzz and Sphinx, they're still in it. The dream is alive.
Just giving a moment of pause. Clicks and Higgs under a lot of pressure right now. Sandwiched in between Savage, Velo, King, and Phaser. But Higgs, he's trying to see if there's any life left in his eyes. But fortunately, Clicks gonna look for a backup moment here. Savage, Velo, though, they're just so healthy. They're looking to try and steamroll through Clicks and Higgs. They want to shut down Exit here in the final hour. Savage and Velo still looking to close it out. But it's Clicks with the turnaround. Clicks just back into the corner, fighting his way out, but just like that, taking it home.
He needs to go quick. Sky Jump and Momsy heard the noise from so far away, and now they're starting to go on a chase. Good job, Fellow, but how far can you stretch this moment here? Because Sky Jump and Momsy, they're surely on the chase, even using the zip line to try to cut the distance as fast as possible.
Hide and seek for Velo. It's his first LAN. What better moment to announce yourself to the world stage? Can he clutch up here? Can he keep evading the attention of Skyjump and Momsy? Trying to be a little bit sneaky here. Hiding behind the trash can. He's being very, very careful because he knows what Skyjump and Momsy are capable of. Has he done enough? You see them still just looking on over, trying to find this elimination, trying to find it.
That elimination, though, those eliminations on the Clicks and Higgs, literally on the live leaderboard, puts them on the spot inside of the bubble. Velo right now really needs to dig deep to figure out how he's going to get out, because it's not only about leaving that position, it's about looting up and getting Savage back.
But look what's taking place elsewhere. Muzz and Sphinx, sure, they might have struck first at Humble Hills, but the leftovers of other teams' desires really taking over in that moment. And no Muzz means that Sphinx has such an uphill battle waiting for him. Chap, Flixie, hanging out still by Dark Dominion. But Jacob, Mini, one thing I couldn't help but notice, Velo stuck behind the dumpster over at Squibbly. He knows that Mumsy and Skyjump are trying to chase him down, but more importantly still, there was still Kazi and Davo off in the distance. And if they go near that hill face that looks directly into Squibbly, they will see Velo.
You have to be so, so careful. And as does anyone that gets in the way of Chap and Flixie in here at Dark Dominion. They're a team that have already booked their spot into the grand finals tomorrow. They're going to be looking at conditioning the rest of the lobby. Yuma, Koyota, a team that we haven't seen enough of today. They need to make it all happen in this final game. Remember, this is a team that know this drop spot well. They have that advantage. Hits a huge shot to Chap already, trying to close in on the distance as well, but Chap's able to find the heals. Yuma's trying to find an angle as well, but Chap is able to find a position of healing. Flixie looking for another angle from a different wall, getting looked at from Koyota. Koyota can't quite find a way through either. Chap's trying to find a response, but it's just a stalemate right now.
Yeah, for Koyota, it's a big shot to open up the fight. Unfortunately enough, they were unable to really follow up on it. Big advantage over Chap, but Flixie's even dropped down to just 1 HP before he's eventually knocked by Scare. The third party comes in. We knew this lobby was going to get aggressive quick, but it's happening at a much faster pace that even I have anticipated as Koyota and Yuma. They need this here. They got some early damage, but they don't want to to be a part of this mess anymore. They're using that porta potty, and they're getting out.
They need to get out of Dodge because so many other teams already working their way over towards Dark Dominion. Chap as a solo, but you have to remember, he's already done what he needed to. 200 points, safe and secure inside of that consistency metric. It doesn't matter if he goes down, but can he play spoiler to Scare and Osid? They're looking to take up the fight. They know that this is an injured solo, but how much further can they push him? And finally, they get that elimination. Toyota and Yuma, though, thanking their lucky stars that they didn't have to continue that exchange, but it does suck in the end because they didn't get the opportunity to properly loot the bodies.
Cheating, remember, uncontested off spawn. They're gonna have to try and look for the damage elsewhere. Of course, already found that early elimination. They'll be happy with that, but the rest of the game needs to go their way. 34 points. The win is going to be what they're looking at right here, Jacob. It's not going to be easy, though. We haven't seen enough of them today. They haven't performed at their best. And for two players of this caliber, you just expect so much more. And they do it now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Yanis and Cheating, all day long, they're essentially at a 50-50 drop spot. You either get the loot, you get the weapons, or you don't. And they've been on the receiving end of a couple losses in some of those games, but the one that matters most, they're still alive. Chino and Pablo, couple struggles to start the day for them. We've seen it yesterday as well. Triple contested does do things to you at the end of the day, but they have been finding their stride to close it out. And now they're at 190 points, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Chino and Pablo are ready to settle the score. They were hunting Mini Theo and Fukun because they are just way too close for comfort. Pablo and Chino are sick of it being a triple contested situation over at Sandy Strip. They want to and guarantee that it'll be just be them versus Victor B and Kanata in tomorrow's competition. Still, Osid, Scare, they're doing everything in their power to just put themselves in a best case scenario to try and win out in this lobby because that's what they need. They need the BR in order to get into tomorrow's competition.
Here on the other side, Scare and Osid need these elims. They need a big game. You can see very close on the standings at the moment. So for both of these teams, it is of equal importance. And that's why we see Haman right here trying to look for an overdrive grenade away. But oh no, Scare and Osid, they are scary right now. They are closing on through. Haman will not get away that easy. Scare just needs to try and find the final few shots to take him out. He just can't hit them here. They're still chasing him on through.
Spend this much time though, pursuit of one individual. Scare and Osid are lucky that they haven't encountered anybody else along the way. They were beelining for him, and finally they'd be able to cut him off. So Scare, Osid, they add yet another elimination. That's 5 in total. And you could be right. It might just be a go big or go home instance. Maybe the Victory Royale could be in their sights, but it could also just be a lot of points off the eliminations and a strong placement finish.
This is one of those teams right here. Mini Pio and Kun, they've been kind of going under the radar until that last game. Almost had me cheering them on. If they would have got the Victory Royale, they could have got a bunch of points to put themselves in control of their entire destiny as Yanis and Cheatin. They know it's not just the Victory Royale, it's the eliminations, because if a lot of those teams along their path, in and outside of the bubble, do go down, that gives them a chance if they get enough eliminations in a high-scoring game to where they might not need the Victory Royale. A little bit more of a long shot, but it's definitely possible.
Hide and seek worked. He wasn't seeked, if you like, as Velo can find the reboot onto Mr. Savage, keeping them in this game, Taco. But of course, their entire game plan, they're now going to be behind. They took so much damage there in those previous fights, so they're going to need to try and find enough damage to make that happen. Epic, Well, and Pump, a really solid game from those guys in that previous one. They need to make something happen here as well, but oh no, Savage down again.
Savage just never got the chance. Teams are looking every which direction. The moment the audio cue sounds out, another player is looking to close in, but even still, Velo at least has one silver lining. And it's a reach in the dark. It's a long shot, but with the way that the lobby is thinning out so rapidly, excuse that last reboot that just took place though to bump it right back up to 60, they might not have to worry about search threshold, but first and foremost, Velo has to escape. He needs to just find a way to position himself and make it into the zone to begin with.
Which is really interesting. He moves on over towards Riptides, but doesn't know they're overstaying their welcome on the side of Epic Whale. and pump is Mr. Savage. Another reboot opportunity. This is how he went down to Momsy and Sky Jump. And you see on the mini-map in that moment, that's when Velo had no choice. I can't continue to be the hero when you have no loot, but he is going to get another opportunity here.
Saw it right there. 70% of their points have been from solo clutches. That's the story of this season as well. So Velo needs to make it all happen right now, even if it is a solo situation throughout the rest of this game. Really putting themselves under it right now because they've got to make it all happen at the end of this game. A team that don't know Taco, Ages and Ritual, experimentation, trying different things, playing back inside of the Storm, maybe experimenting with more.
And this feels like watching a breath of fresh air in action because Agers and Ritual, they have all the time in the world. They can do whatever they want. They can get eliminated in the next couple of seconds and it wouldn't make a difference. They have secured their spot for the Summit Finals. But now, Sato, Hodesai, they're also looking to take control of their fate and make it onto tomorrow's battle bus. First, they'll have to contend, though, with the team left over at Wonky Land, King and Phaser. But King and Phaser, they're not interested. They're just trying to play this one out.
Second time is maybe Mr. Savage. Can you survive? Yes, you can. But for how long? A little bit of HP. Medkits being passed. They have absolutely nothing to their name. And in a 2-tick zone, they're not going to have a lot of time to actually loot up and get the loadout that they want. So they're just going to be scrapping their way through the end of this game. But at 116, again, they were that team that is on the line. If they could somehow make it out of zone to start scoring some placement points, they should be okay.
2-tick zone though, the Storm is moving in. It's going to get increasingly more difficult for them to get on in here in a good situation. Maybe if they even make it in. They don't have any loot. Mr. Savage doesn't have anything. So if this is going to happen for them, they're doing it in style.
Even when they make it into the zone, though, they'll have that constant looming threat of Storm sickness. We haven't seen too many duos threatened by it throughout today's matches, but this would definitely be a circumstance where I could see that taking over just because of how much time Velo has had to position himself inside a Storm to bring Savage back. Skyjump and Momsy, though, devious start. Chasing down Velo from the beginning has now left them in a position where they've got ample surge and they're looking to make their next move.
And for a couple of teams in this lobby, it is looking good. Fadil and Ju specifically, 400 damage above the threshold. They're looking for opportunities for more. Cheat and Yanis, they're the ones in their line of sight, and they cause a little bit of a distraction. It does look like Cheatin was just taken down, leaving Yanis by himself. You got to blame Fadil and Ju a little bit for that causing the distraction. But at 122 points, you see them inside of that bubble, but they are not safe. They still need to perform decently well in this game to secure that spot.
Max full zone, absolute nightmare situation for them right now, but how are they going to handle it? Overdrive grenades goes through. They just decide to white line it here, try and go the easy way through, get on top of this hill. An important position for them to find themselves in as the rest of the lobby also try and find their way on through. Where will they position themselves next? Every single move they make here, Taco, has increased importance.
For grades and visuals, they might find themselves a little bit cut off. Bit hesitant to try and move out initially. They knew that Randu was right next door. They didn't want to be at risk of losing their shields. They're gonna opt to take a little bit more of an isolated path here, wrapping all the way around for some of their pre-existing builds even, but so far so good. Nobody's holding down that hill, still just ahead of them, and so they will be able to work their way into this next edge zone.
Give or take 3 eliminations worth of points for visuals and braids. That's how close this game actually is, as Velo and Savage end up in another scuffle. FaZe and Gerald on the other side, but luckily for them, they're 74 above. They get tagged up yet again, 35, quickly falling. They aggressed onto him. Gerald ends up in the whole box, but they're just trying to backtrack in their steps. They don't want to give it up here. They're 196 above. Surprisingly, look at their loadout, Spinny. You almost would have never guessed they went down. He takes a big shot, but he fires one back. Gerald goes down. Velo gets sprayed from all around. 25 HP, and they lose control and go down.
There are no winners in this this exchange, though, Jacob. Faison might have won it out initially, but he is still inside of the storm. Everybody else in the lobby looking his way, waiting for him to try and make his entry point. But Cazers, Xavier, everyone else just looking to shut him out.
Odesai Sato had a really good off spawn this time. They needed to make this game count, but no, with Sato going down, Odesai follows. Gino and Pablo continue to find their fighting prowess in these lobbies to again solidify their spot in the grand finals. They're having fun.
Yeah, you see 14th place, 18th place, both of them down, and this is just one of those moments where you have to just sit and wait. Pray nobody passes you on that leaderboard, and maybe even cheering for a team like this, for Chino and Pablo, to take out your competition. But they're at 194 points. They've been on fire as of recently, and they don't look to slow down yet. But as we move in this zone, we're going up towards the top of that mountain. So this one, if you don't have enough builds or aren't prepared for the different elevation changes, I bid you farewell.
12th through 14th, though, those duos have already been eliminated from this lobby. The cutoff range really appears to be where Josh and Zoe were last seen, in that 11th place position, and it's going to be very close here. Braids, visuals, still trying to do what they can to play leapfrog in the final moments.
Fast Roki repairs, looking to play for that height right now. Chino lost Pablo down to 6 HP, trying to hide away, but it's not going to matter. He's down and out, but they'll be rocketing themselves all the way through to the grand finals tomorrow. What a performance from that.
Yannis just trying to go ahead and shockwave to try to grab some of the loot. But unfortunately enough, he ends up on the backside of that zone, having to figure out a way out of that position. But for Alex and Reckless, OCE's best. They got 4 eliminations, 116 points. Not sure what that threshold is now, but you see they're just outside of that bubble. 1 elimination, 1 placement point, and if one team goes down, they will take it.
Alex was saying earlier on, he's the face of OCE. You want the face of OCE in the top level of competition. Epic Well and Pup here, able to find a little bit of loot here of Karama. That's going to be huge for them going into this endgame. Of course, the zone's pulling back into that way as well, so they can extend into that zone. But oh no, they're getting knocked on the door. There's another team spraying at them here. It's not going to be easy.
And Vidil under so much pressure right now, but just barely going to be above the surge threshold. Still, he has to try and pick up whatever points he can, because it is way too close for comfort. 124 points, 3 teams tied at the same margin. He cannot afford to go down anytime soon. He needs all the placement he can build, maybe some eliminations to go with it.
So many solo clutches this season from Vidil. What bigger time to do it for him right now? We saw it in the last chance qualifier in Major 1. He came so close to winning out the game. All he needs to do now is find a few more of these placement points. Getting into those is going to be so vital for them. Fast Roki in repairs, reclaim that high ground as well. And looking on down at the rest of the lobby and looking at their points, Jacob, they need this win.
Yeah, and they're putting themselves in the best position possible to take it. We know high ground wins games, even though low ground might win a championship. It's about qualifying to Sunday. But if flank comes in, high ground gets contested, Fast Roki goes down. It's all up to repair. 7 HP and a dream.
But everything is crumbling right underneath him. Too many teams looking his way. Repair still managing to drop, avoids the brunt of the damage. Currently, Yuma and Toyota, they are all or nothing at this stage. They want the victory royale more than anyone in this final moment.
But they don't have bills. They're trying to fight. They're trying to find that refresh. It's all a bit of a frenzy right now for Toyota and Yuma. They're not able to find this height hold successfully. It's absolute chaos. Toyota goes up onto height. They're still trying to hold it, but they don't have the bills.
Yeah, they just try and cause havoc. Let some of those shots bleed through. Maybe get the elimination. But Vidil, you said it yourself. Clutching up again. 148 points. Sunday, he can taste it. He is right there. He doesn't even need to do much. He just needs to continue to stay alive. Half of the placement points in the game will be granted into the top 10. I think that's the marker he's looking for. But minute goes down. Toyota, Yuma, they lose their high ground. Tiggs.
It's just natural reflex right now for Vidil. You leave him by himself, and yet he looks like a duo to contend with. 1 elimination. elimination to kickstart things, but just like that, the scenery can change so quickly, but Deal unfortunately caught out. Tiggs and Danikash are going to be able to prevent him from keeping anything else going. Still, Epic Whale trying to change his fate. He missed out in 2023 in a similar format. He's not trying to do it again. 3 eliminations already as a solo. They have catapulted themselves in the standings, and he still wants more.
8 bills for Epic Whale, getting knocked at the door from so many different angles. Takes down Cocoon. Can he find this refresh? He absolutely needs it right now. Another 4 teams in this game. This is huge for Epic Whale in these final moments. They look like they've already qualified through, but why not win it?
Yeah, he has the med kits in the back pocket. I'm not sure how much Storm he's actually tanked at this time, but that could be a second win condition. But up above, uncontested, nobody able to look up, and the only duo left in this game at 180 points, Javi and Minish, and they're firing down onto Epic Whale. These are 2 teams. They don't need the win. They're almost already qualified, so it really goes down to Ozone. This is your moment. Can you clutch up? There's Javi, a Minish. They get the elimination onto Epic Whale. He has more than enough left on the Chug Jug to get himself healthy before the inevitable happens. The clash between Titans on NA Central. Javi and a Minish, 192 points. Can Ozone do it? Because up they go. A Minish, Javi. They don't want to just take part in day 2. They want to take over. Ozone, they're by himself in no man's land. Javi and a Minish, take it all.
You can definitely feel a little bit of the panic starting to build up there, but a Minish, he found the one shot that mattered, the closeout, and they will make it into tomorrow's battle bus.
Harvey, it's not bad for your first LAN, is it? Getting a victory royale and getting yourself through to that final.
Oh, I'm so happy, man. All the time I put in, all the work, I thought we weren't going to qual yesterday. We done it, but we made it happen. ¡Viva México, cabrones!
I think all of Mexico just heard you, Javi. And Minish, I spoke to you this morning. You said there were small mistakes to fix. How did you fix them?
We were just uncontested, I'm not going to lie. Other than when Chap and Flixie tried to grief me, but it didn't work that well the last game, you know what I'm saying?
It didn't work that well, but you might have to see them again tomorrow because they've definitely qualified too. Looking back to the major finals in your region, a big problem for you was managing that Storm Surge in the mid-game. Do you feel like it might still pose a challenge?
I think we'll be able to figure everything out by the time finals comes around. We have 12 games. We just wanted to get some extra practice in today to see how it'll play out in the finals.
Absolutely. Just 8 games now, boys. Do you think NA is going to come out on top?
I'm going to come out on top, not NA.
Okay, then it's going to be NA. It's going to be Mexico. I can't wait to see how you do. I can see a Mexican flag over there. Please, Düsseldorf, one more time. Javi and a Minish. Let's send it back to the desk.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Shout out to Javi in a minute here. Dude, so many things to unpack in that last game. But first and foremost, we have to shout out the winners. They get themselves a Real. They secure themselves a spot to tomorrow's finals. But what does this mean for the rest of the lobby? For them, obviously, they got to start thinking, all right, prep begins now.
Exactly that. I mean, not only do they have to go through this excitement, I love to see the representation globally. Javi messaged me yesterday, actually. He sent me a DM. He said, Tokada, how do you have more earnings than me? I said, Javi, don't worry. Get through this weekend. Prove that you have what it takes. And I think we're not going to have to wait long for him to pass it.
Tokada flexing his earnings there for everyone, by the way. Good on you. Good on you, lads.
Yeah.
Good on you. Look, Harvey and a Minish, they have been working so hard. Every time I've been in that practice area, I have seen them rod reviewing with their coach, TS. Shout out to him. Look, it wasn't the smoothest of days by any means, but what Minish said as far as using all the games to gather as much information, gather as much experience as possible to take into tomorrow, and they deserve to be there at the end of the day. A great win in a game, Zeke, that was so heavily contested. So many people giving their best final swings to try and make something happen in that game, and these two did it the best.
What's crazy too, I don't know if you saw the point threshold right before we cut away there. They're up there. They're in that top 19, which means they will be pulling someone else outside of the top 19 up to fill one of those spots. These standings are going to go crazy. But once again, shout outs to them. And if you're just tuning in, you have missed some crazy Fortnite action. Here's a look back at the game winners. And as a reminder, every duo who got a Victory Royale on this page, they went straight through to tomorrow's finals. Depending on where they ended up, they didn't have to play anymore. So last game, it's fine. Hobby diminished. They got it, and that's what they'll be playing for, the trophy. But boy, so many crazy things. And I'm getting word, the standings already. Let's go ahead. Let's see what this starts to look like with so many big names having these big pop-off performances in this last game. Ages and Ritual go in as the #1 seed. Guys, I want to turn attention to 10th place Epic Whale and Pump. Epic Whale, Tokata, you and me were like, wait, this is the old Epic Whale. What am I seeing?
What year are we living in? Is this 2019, 2018, 2020 Epic Whale? At one point, I saw a flash from the past when he was looking unstoppable, winning every single FNCS back-to-back on NA West, and now paired up with Pump. We are back at it again at the Major One Summit LAN. They have qualified themselves to the Sunday Finals.
Epic Whale, when it mattered the most, stepped up. He was right on that threshold going into this final game, and he did not leave it to chance. I mean, you already said it. He was moving, he was flying. Still plenty to figure out as far as tomorrow goes. But that is what we wanted to see from the veterans, the experienced ones. Epic Whale is one of only 3 players who played in Solo World Cup, Duo World Cup, and every single FNCS LAN. And so for him now to be making the final in this one, we were talking about players who maybe got to play 2023's upper and lower bracket format and didn't make it through. He failed last time around. Here in 2026, he makes it through the lower bracket and avenges himself from the past. A great performance to do it as well.
Oh my goodness. Let's take a look. Remember, we need to be in that top 19. And I gotta turn attention. I want to start at 14th place. Vadial, this last game, he shows up and has the solo clutch, Tokata. We were following his perspective, and in that moment, dude, again, it's like, it's just a blast from the past, getting these long-time OG players showing up massive. Lev, I was getting hyped.
This season, we have seen Vadil do this so many times. Takar, you've casted some of these moments where he has been down as a solo and just having to stay alive in a game to keep his dreams alive, and he does it here today.
When it mattered most on home turf, Vadil did not disappoint. The solo clutch was on real, racking up elimination after elimination, but all that matters is we will see them tomorrow at the Sunday Finals.
They looked so clean. We've actually talked with multiple players. That solo clutch factor is critical. And finally, obviously, the team in 19th place, Alex, Reckless, we're going to be seeing you in finals.
The OCE dream stays alive. The champs of Major 1 in OCE have not had the smoothest of days. But again, like we said, when it mattered the most, they stepped up and got the result they needed. This next page, though, is where things start to get sad. I mean, some of the goodbyes we're having to give to some of the players who have walked off the stage now, the likes of Sato and Podesai, Visual and Braids, Mr. Savage and Velo. iDrop and Marius. Marius was one of the players on the global stage last year who was fighting till the very end, giving Queasy, Swizzy and Mustache a run for their money, and he won't be playing in tomorrow's finals. Janice and Cheating. Again, a legendary German player in Janice, not gonna make it through. Koyoto and Yuma, the Asian Peterbot. We all wanna see these guys playing in the final, but the competition Zeke is so tight at the top.
I mean, you saw it there. King and FaZe as well. Dude, so many duos. Tokata. It breaks my heart, right? I'd love to make sure every single one of these players got the prize money, the beautiful trophy, but at the end of the day, this is a competition. We are fighting to see who will be the best duo and earn the title of Summit LAN champion. It was very refreshing to see as well so many of these OG players and kind of forced into these solo clutch situations, firing on all cylinders, clutching up in this game when the pressure's on. think about the experience they've already had. They've been in these situations before, and for just that brief moment, they find that flow state. They go, hey, I've been here before. I'm going to tap into that. Now it's time to clutch.
The issue is, though, it's just all of this experience, too. We're seeing a lot of these legacy players that have been here before. They were just not able to make it through, but it's that bittersweet moment where you have players like Clix and Higgs who didn't make it, but you have also up-and-coming rising talent showing what they're capable of on an international stage. But what I'm thinking, too, I mean, a lot of those wonky land teams, Clix, Higgs, King, Phaser, this means some interesting stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah, we can't just move past this though, man. Clix and Higgs, the start to the year this duo had, all the hype was on Higgs. People highlighted how amazing he was as an individual. The momentum from last year's trio success, everybody believed it carry over into the duos. And even when people tried to build these guys up as a duo who would be able to compete and fight to the very end, it just hasn't been good enough. And this result might just be the shock this duo needs, because I think we can all sit here and reasonably say both of these guys are more than good enough to be playing in tomorrow's final. We love seeing them together. They're a fun duo. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them, they are a fun duo. They bring entertainment to not just NA, all of Fortnite. But it needs to be better, and today, just not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like you're saying, we need to shift focus. It needs to be a wake-up call. We have Major 2, we have Second Chance, and then we're going to Belgium. We don't have a ton of time left here to try and secure one of those spots, but ultimately, we still need to give all the teams that made it here their flowers, right? Many of them fought through Major 1, then Last Chance, then Second Chance to be here on the stage. So Fortnite fam, even if your favorite duo didn't make it through, make sure to send them some love. They still fought it out on this stage. They brought every single thing they had. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but that does not mean they are not one of the best players in the world. If they weren't, they would not have been competing on this stage. Obviously, boys, sad moment over because we got to shift focus tomorrow. Finals.
I think the great thing about Summit as an event is usually we have these conversations with teams at the end of the year when they fail or they don't have the globals that they were hoping for. For a lot of these teams, a lot of these players, I reckon some of these guys will split over the course of the year. But for a lot of these players, this is the shock they need so that if they are on that stage at Globals, they can remember this feeling. Some of them are in the back listening to me right now. Remember how you feel right now. Make sure that doesn't happen again in Antwerp.
Boys, what do we think? Tomorrow, finals, we now know the duos are competing. I'd love to hear your expectations going into tomorrow. I think we have to obviously remind ourselves the plans for mostly so many of these duos. Some made it through. They were thinking, hey, upper bracket, I'm just having a plan for upper bracket and finals. Some had to fight their way back through lower bracket. And we can't forget tomorrow is 8 games. It's not 6, it's 8. That changes, even just adding a handful of games changes so much.
I'm thinking back to 2024 Global Championship. Our winners, Peterbot and Pollo. We've seen a lot of EU representation, a lot of NA, a lot of what people call smaller regions, but with King, Phaser, Clix, Higgs out of the game, these wonky land duos are no longer looking so strong. We know how Peterbot and Pollo like to play. We know that they can perform when it matters the most, so I've got high expectations for them.
Look, tomorrow, we're gonna get absolute cinema! It's gonna be so good, I'm telling you. Look, just dust off the tears, wipe them down, forget all the sadness. The players who are playing tomorrow are gonna put on an absolute show. That is one thing I can promise you.
That's right. Well, before we start taking the camera, I do want to get production, give me that graphic. Don't forget, we announced a bunch of things like the new Global Championship dates, where we're going, Belgium, a solo event, Major 2, the Last Chance. There's a blog. If this is the first time you're seeing it, go check it out. FNComp on Twitter. Find the blog. Read up yourself. There's brand new power rankings that Lev made a video on. There's an Acts of Unreal. It's Community Day happening right now. Jump in, double XP, typical gamer, got an icon skin. It's a lot. And we have finals tomorrow where we compete for $250,000 if we come out in first place and the title of Summit Champion. I'm out of breath. Fortnite fam, lock in tomorrow. We run it back 8 games, and it is going to be a movie. Until then, we love you. Keep yourself safe. We'll see you on that battle bus.